The best scams are when the victim thinks he's getting over on you.
I don't like to have to convince somebody of anything in order for me to get paid.
I enjoy speaking to the people because I'm going to manipulate you. When he said no driving, he meant don't get caught driving. I'm driving. I'm breaking the law. Like, who's going to stop me? Are you going to sign an officer to me every time I step out of the house?
I got to come take the car.
Yeah, you better not go to sleep at any time. Where did he go?
Can you think of a scam that would work?
I wanted to hear Boseak's opinion of what you offered as opposed to what I offered on the mail-in bullshit.
He's going to back me up.
Okay, let's see.
So run the scam one more time for me.
All right, so somebody's sending out letters to people telling them that someone died and you can get part of the inheritance.
Here's my issue with any. I'm one of those people that the scams. I don't like to deal with people. Okay, I don't like to have to convince somebody of anything to in order for me to get paid, because I clam up and I have that anxiety inside of me. Like most people that do that, I mean, I'm not talking shit. They're drug addicts. Most people that do those kinds of scams have been lifelong drug addicts, and for whatever reason, those people have that mechanism inside of them that they just don't get embarrassed. They don't get ashamed. They can say anything to anyone and try and convince anyone of anything because that's what they've been doing their whole life to get their drugs. So it's like, I just don't have that in me. I don't feel like I have that mechanism in me. I can't walk up to somebody I don't know and try and convince them
but that's not
either A, to commit a crime openly, or B, that somehow I have a bunch of money that I'm going to give. Because listen, anybody with 2 cents that rolling around inside of their head is gonna smell scam from a mile away.
But that's not the scam. That's not what he said. That's not the question. Well, we already know this is a scam that works. It's called the Nigerian prince scam. Well,
right, but
we're saying the different. I'm explaining.
I would like to see that.
You're right. Go ahead. You're right.
Honestly, I know you guys think this is such a great scam, but I honestly would like to see the statistics on how many times this actually they actually get money from it.
No one thinks it's a good time. We're just tweaking it.
Listen, it's what's called the Nigerian prince scam.
No, I understand the Nigerian prince scam. It's been around for a long time.
Right. So what I'm saying,
which is amazing how I fell for it.
What I'm saying, and you didn't fall for it. You kind of fell for it. You were taken in a little bit, but you didn't fall. If you'd fallen for it, you would have paid.
Yeah.
All right. So here's what I'm saying is the difference is I'm saying the scam in general, I don't like it. But if you were going to do it, if they tweaked it a little bit, it's easier to tweak it by saying, because it was a law firm that contacted him.
Well, you can make it look like anything.
Right. Their problem is the letter did not look like a letter from a law firm.
Yeah,
The guy that answered the phone did not sound like an attorney.
Nope.
The amount of money that they
So you're saying if somebody had this operation down to a T, it would work?
Yeah, I think
if it was less money, because they were trying to get me for $10,000, and he's saying if it would have been like $450.
Which is common.
Trying to convince somebody that they have an inheritance coming, but you need to give me money first before you get the inheritance. I just think that's. Okay. I don't think that's even.
I think you don't understand.
I think it's crazy.
Yeah,
I think that's the most insane thing ever.
From a loose, what it is the guy is saying, hey, listen, this isn't really rightfully yours. Your name.
So you're trying to convince someone to commit fraud.
Correct.
That makes it even worse.
Yep.
Yeah,
that makes it even worse.
But if you were if you were inclined to participate, then that's where he grabbed, because that's where it grabbed me. Because it's like, hey, this is $11 million.
It's the carrot.
And I'm like, so you're saying this woman died?
He's saying that this is legal. This is legal. I've been able to trace your lineage, and somehow you're loosely related to this guy. So it's legal. We're going to go through all the legal steps to get you this money. My firm knows how.
Yeah.
I just need you to pay.
To me, that's just such a hard sell.
It's
complicated. It's a hard sell.
I agree.
And you're calling, it's random people in the U.S. People are going to be like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is this?
You're not listening. What we're saying is, I understand what you're saying, but you're not listening. This is something that does happen and it does work. It's worked for a long time.
I'd like to see the statistics on that.
What the question?
And they all got to be seniors. They all got to be the people that are just absolutely retarded, or they're 90 years old.
The question is this. The question is, if you were running that scam, which one do you think would work better? Asking for which one do you think you'd make more money at? Asking $10,000?
Asking for a large amount?
It's the lower amount.
The lower amount.
Always the lower amount.
You're going to get more people to pay the lower amount than the few people that are going to pay the 10,000. One, most people just don't have it. One, you have to take them.
But he targeted
huge.
He targeted people.
I understand, but they don't
like
right. But they don't typically target roofers. They typically target just in general people.
But
so
it's like
they're tweaking that scam.
But how many? So let's look at it in just sheer numbers. How many people fall victim to the crime, and how many times are they successful over not? So if you this is a scam that works a lot, then you can hit a bunch of people for low amounts of money to get you to the amount that you want. But if this is something that barely ever works, then I see them going for the high amounts.
Well, I think it works because your friend, because he's like, all right,
God, who falls for this? Like I can't
know
imagine the person.
What is this?
Wait,
like
I know-
what's going on?
I can tell you
what
right
I'm
now.
saying?
You know who falls for this?
Me.
No. The average person. I'll tell you right now. Did you watch Casey Anthony's trial?
Yes.
Remember, her father was a former police officer.
Yes.
He paid like $7,000 or $8,000 to a scam like this.
Are you serious?
Absolutely, it was in the trial. It was this embarrassing thing that they got on there. They had to admit that they'd had financial problems. Why did you have financial problems?
Oh,
because
yeah.
he'd been taken in by the
By
Nigerian prince scam, and he paid like $6,000, and then they came back and they got him again. Total, I think it was like 15 grand. He paid.
I got a little story.
Average people fall for it.
This kid I used to work with. I worked for a very short period of time when I lived in Los Angeles. I worked at a company that built furniture out of mahogany, like really high end. One chair was like $5,000, but this kid was a moron. This kid was an absolute dipshit. He worked in the warehouse. He just moved boxes around. Just an absolute idiot. This guy somehow. Where am I going to start in the story? Okay, so we used to have these lifts in the warehouse. And it was just like a long platform, and you can go all the way up and pull the furniture off the top onto the platform and lower yourself down. When you get on these lifts, you're supposed to put on a harness and clip yourself off in case you fall off the side of the platform. You don't smack your face in the ground and die.
You don't go all the way down. But
well, this idiot didn't wear a harness, and he was up there, fell off the platform, smacked his face on the ground, on the cement, busted his head open, had a bunch of stitches, sued the company, and won. The company then, after they paid him out, let him come back to work. For whatever reason, I don't understand this. They hired him back. So he gets a phone call one day by someone claiming to be the IRS saying that you owe us X amount of dollars. And if you don't go down to the store and get gift cards, Visa gift cards right now and give them to us, somebody's going to come to your house and arrest you. This motherfucker went down
to the store,
got $7,000 in gift cards, and went back and gave them to the person over the phone.
Yes.
And in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, you didn't, like, how dumb do you have to be? Like, because I know right away, like, that's insanity to even do something like that. It's insanity.
I've met people who've done that, but
this kid was dumb. Like, and I'm like, okay, well, this is the type of person that falls for these scams. I mean, this kid was just a moron. He didn't have any common sense at all. You know what I mean? But barely could keep up his personal hygiene. He's one of those kids, you know what I mean? He's constantly high, smoking dope all day long. And I'm like, oh my God,
and
that's crazy.
So Matt's
people
point,
fall for scam. I fell for that. Like, you ask him.
But that's a diamond in the rough. How many people do you got to go through before you find that
Have
one
you ever
idiot?
fell
And that's
for a
the
scam?
whole
Have you
goal
ever
of
fell for a
fishing.
scam?
That's the goal of
Once.
fishing.
Where they pass out the CDs on the Hollywood Boulevard and out in California. I was green. I didn't know that that was all bullshit and there was nothing on the disc. Here, man, support my music. You know, like they're supposed to be a rapper, and then they hand you the CD and they're like, oh, I'm accepting donations. And then if you don't give them the money, they create like a big scene and all this other shit. So I gave the dude $20, and then I got in the car and put the disc in. I'm just like, are you kidding me? This asshole he's just out there with bullshit CD. Like, I didn't know.
I don't even think that's a. I don't even.
That's a street scam. That's a street scam.
I don't even.
But I
like
fell
hustle.
for it.
Well,
That's a street scam.
that is a scam, but
I kind of feel like that's just
the small. That's the small one you're talking about.
Not that got over.
That's the small one you're talking about.
No, because I'm thinking that this guy's an artist. I'm gonna see he's a rapper. I'm gonna support his music.
Right.
And then you get it, and it's just like some Indian shit. And
Right.
you're like, oh, he got me.
But
He
look
fucking
at
got
all.
me.
If you think about all the work he put into getting, like, where did he buy all those CDs, putting them in cases, label them all?
Yeah,
he
to
did
burn
a lot of work
them.
to get whatever he get. So that's just kind of like what you're talking about. That's the small scam you're talking about.
Yeah, he's probably getting 5 people an hour.
Yeah, it's like $100 an hour out there.
And if he stays out there
close
10, and if the guy comes back and yells at him, he'll be like, "You don't like my music? Like, what are you? Oh, yeah, but I don't give back any." You know,
Yeah.
what do? They call the cops. And
Or-
it was a
and
donation.
he packs up and leaves.
Technically,
I
he's
asked
not
you
breaking
for
the
a
law.
donation.
Technically, I don't think he's breaking the law, to be honest
Right.
with you.
Right.
That's
So-
why they're out there doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
But I fell
mean,
for it. I fell for it because I had no idea.
but I don't think.
It seemed like a legitimate thing. You know what I mean?
That's true. I mean, I wouldn't compare it. What were you going to say, Matt?
Oh, I was going to say that I think I don't even feel like that's really a scam. I wouldn't feel stupid for giving him $20.
Well, have
I
you ever
felt
fell for a
dumb.
scam?
No, I think probably the closest I've come is like, and I know everybody's been approached by this person, not the same guy, but the same kind of guy, where they're like, "Excuse me, man, you're with your girl. Hey, man, I got to talk to you real quick. Look, I'm not like a bum or nothing. I got a job. I work in Orlando, and you're in Ybor City." And he's like, "The problem is I drove here with a bunch of guys. We got into an argument. They left me here. I'm stuck. I can get a bus ticket back for $30. I got like
Those fucking guys.
I got like $25. If you give me $10 to get me back, just give me your address. I'll send you the money back."
Junkies, all of
Right.
them.
And you're looking, and you kind of look at him, you're like, "Listen,
Here's $10.
I'm gonna give you the $10 because I get it. But I don't want you." And I even said, "But I don't believe that. No. I don't believe that." Because here's the thing. What kind of a human being are you that you can't pick up the phone and call someone to send you money or drive from Orlando to
There
pick
it
you
is.
up?
There's a reason why all those bridges are burned.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So it's a scam. It's bullshit. But I am with my girl. Here's $10.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
There's a twist on that scam, by the way. If you ever pull up to a gas station and you have somebody say, "Oh, I'm completely," they're parked by a pump. "I'm completely out of gas. I'm stranded. I don't have no money. All I need is like $10, $15 you can put in the gas tank for me." He's like, "You only got to give me the cash. You can just go in there." So you go in there, you tell the guy like 20 on 5. So then they act like they're pumping the gas, but they don't pump the gas. And then you leave the gas station, they go back in there and they get that $20 from the attendant because they didn't pump I'm not going to pump the gas. So they get the money. And
So
they
these type of
got me a couple
things-
times on that one.
He's
Motherfucker.
getting exposed. He's
That's-
getting exposed.
That type of stuff works
I think I fell for
on
one scam on that day. No.
Yeah.
that type of thing works on people with good heart.
Yes. Well, they prey on people like that.
Oh, absolutely. Like they see me and I'm hopping out of a Jaguar or whatever. "Hey,
Like,
bro,
yeah.
such and such." I turn and look and I see like a grown man. I'm
Yeah.
like, "Bro, you should have got up earlier, got your ass to day labor. Your car doesn't run on hope.
Yeah.
Get you some money. You're a grown man. Like, go get you some money." I'm not a donating motherfucker, bro. I'm not a donating. Like, I go to Wawa and I see a grown dude with bigger muscles than me asking me for something. Bro, you're finna get high.
Yeah.
Why don't you ask me for a discount on something or
Yeah.
something? Don't. I'm not finna give you so you can go get a plug. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get something to eat. No, you're not. Because if you were, you would have got up earlier. You knew you didn't have no money when you woke up.
Yeah. You didn't wake up hungry.
Yeah,
If you were really hungry, you'd have woke up
that.
hungry and you'd have gone a day later.
You knew you
Hey,
had
bro,
no money when
you
you
give me
woke up.
$5 for gas. I was just finna ask you the same thing. I drive a Jaguar or I got a Ducati. All that's it drinks champagne. You got 5 on it? you look like you got money. Well, I need it. I need to support this look. I gotta maintain this shit, bro. Fuck that. Yeah, you're just a friendly looking guy. Hey, let me get
smiling.
it.
He's probably walking around smiling like.
Yeah.
He's thinking about the hundreds of thousands he's making on
Like some people just have,
YouTube,
some people
sure.
have just a lot of empathy. A lot of people have a lot of empathy inside of them, so they feel bad if they don't give it. Like, because and that's where they take advantage. That's where those junkies take advantage. They snip those people out. Like, because they're all manipulators. They're all manipulators. So
Everybody is.
so they know how.
You go into Dillard's, they're manipulating you to apply for instant credit. They need
That
the
was the
sales.
scam I was going to bring up, by
You
the
go
way.
to
Listen,
Honda.
I love it when they ask me for, would you like to open a Home Depot
credit card?
I said,
Fuck
my
you.
probation officer said I can't open any lines of credit while I'm on probation. They're like, oh okay. And they just keep going.
Man, I made a living off of over rambunctious back then Macy's, Burdines,
Sales
Dillard's. Yeah, I would go in there and
They
I'm
want that
ready.
commission.
I've got the driver's license. I've got all
That
my
was the scam
info
I was going
right
to
here.
bring up. There you go.
I've got it all waiting, and I'm just walking around. I walk around in the polo section. Back then, the Nautica section. Hey, you want to try Instagram? I don't know.
They still do that to this day, don't they? Instant credit.
Yeah, but they don't
But you-
aggressively try to
Pursue it,
solicit.
yeah.
They
Well,
used to
they
have,
do.
They used to have podiums right outside
yeah.
of Dillard's, and before you walk, hey, you're just trying to get out to your car.
Yeah.
Hey, we've got teddy bears, lollipops, just if you apply.
Yeah, now they try to get you at the counter, sign up for the
Yes,
credit
it's
card.
at
Yes.
the counter.
Yeah,
now.
Yes.
It's the credit
Yeah, it's
card.
at the
yeah.
counter.
They
Before you
used to
ring
be at
that
the
up.
counter. That's why I always remember it at the counter.
So what's
Instant credit. That was what I was going to bring up. Like you said, a scam
What is it? What
would
is
be
it?
instant credit, where you would go into stores and try to buy something, tell them it's outside of your budget, and then the store would say, well, hey, how about getting one of our credit cards? You want to apply for one of our credit cards, and we'll extend you the credit. That way you can leave here with whatever you want. So that's kind of a scam, but it's not like a scam against another person. It's kind of a scam against the company and the bank. You know what I'm saying? We have been talking about scams against other individuals.
Well, how does that work?
All right, the way it works is you get a fake ID of someone that has good credit, someone you know has good credit. Then you take that fake ID into, like Cyx was just saying, into a department store or a store, and then they ask you, hey, you want to apply for instant credit? All you need is the ID. So you show them the fake ID, you give them the person with good credit social and the date of birth's on there, and then they run it, and they basically just base it off of their credit score. And if they have a good credit score, they issue them credit and allow them to purchase whatever they want out of the store. Me and my ex, we used to call that what is it? Wheel of Fortune, where you go, I'll take the flat screen TV. How much credit do I have? 6,000. Take the flat screen TV for 2,850, and then you move.
What do I got
on,
left?
and
What do I got left?
The dinette set for 1,700. Load it up in the truck. They go, well, you want it delivered?
DVD.
Yeah, you want it delivered? Yeah. No, I already brought a truck. You bought, yeah.
Ironically.
I happen to have a U-Haul
Yeah,
with
that's
me.
right. That's right. Ironic, and it's backed up
And
at your
it's back
dock.
there.
So that's the instant credit.
So how do you get, where do you get the ID?
That's a good question. So, and what normally most people have a plug for a fake ID.
I heard you're going to start all those conversations with, I don't know, but I've heard.
Yeah.
You know, I
In
remember
the
back
past,
Yeah.
when
most
Zach
people have
and
a
I-
connect.
When Zach and I did that exact thing, because that thing works.
Oh,
When we
my
did
God.
that exact thing, I used to have the his ex in my ear on the Bluetooth.
well, they upgraded it because at first, they would go strictly off your credit score.
Right.
Then I guess it became a problem. So they said, okay, well, we'll ask them some qualifying questions. Questions that only
verify
you
your
would know.
identity.
only I would, only the
to
person
verify.
would know.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when they started doing that, I'm like, well, I don't know where all that information is. And like, I met someone in jail that told me, oh, that's just LexisNexis information.
Pull the
Yeah.
credit file,
I said, are you
yeah.
kidding me? Not credit file, LexisNexis, which tells you LexisNexis
It's like a
Oh.
detailed
is a
credit.
company where the government was actually taking information from all angles and
Yeah,
compiling it into one source.
Like Beth Boseak, she's in what age range from 45 to
What
20?
your automobile
Yeah,
and
yeah,
tag,
yeah.
where
And they
you've
know
gotten
you're related.
mail,
Yeah.
Where you got
you've
the
had
color of
utility
your
bills,
car,
phone numbers that you've
county,
listed on different
known
documents,
associates,
school,
Yeah.
telephone
college
numbers.
credits.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, anybody can sign up with an account for LexisNexis
Not
right
at all,
now,
no.
right? And
Nope.
pull all that
Yeah,
information.
well, you can, but it's expensive.
Yeah,
And then
it's
it
like
takes
$30
certain
or $40,
certifications
yeah.
Right.
for
so
different companies. So-
anyone can that fits certain criteria.
So
Yes.
if you said I own a financial institution and you had a license as that institution, they would say, okay, we can open an account.
Yep,
for
because you
I
have a license.
Right,
So
you have
you're
a
going to
license.
put in the description, I do A, B, and C, I'm bonder or whatever, and here's my this and here's that, and then they're going to verify that
Listen,
stuff.
the people who use
Meticulously.
LexisNexis the hardest is bail bondsmen.
Mm.
In case you skip on a bond,
So they know
So-
where all your relatives live.
all
Yeah.
the addresses.
and
Yeah.
and they're able to break down each. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
that's
He
easy.
drives
So
this guy and the car color.
yeah.
That's what I used to see on those Lexus.
So what would
They has
happen
car
when
color,
you
everything.
go when you go up to the cashier and
well,
they,
there's also you have to have people with good credit. So
Yeah.
that also it's something you have to obtain. So in order to pull it off, you have to have information of who has good credit.
right,
Right, they would
And
qualify.
and the second form of ID, because they're going to want to swipe the car. I know with Birdimes and all of that, they wanted to swipe the ID so I could get around.
Oh yeah,
The
that
ID.
was the those
that-
green dots.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
I
where the
used to-
green dots.
Yeah, we did used to do the green dots for
And
second
really,
form.
all it is you take a gift card or whatever type of card. So the green dot
Register
you
it
can
to that
call
name.
and register those.
Yeah.
and put a name
to
on
an
the Social
address
Security.
so that you can get things, use it online and get things shipped to you.
Right.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
all it is putting that information on, just like your reader writer, it's just putting that information in.
Right.
So when, hey, I don't have my driver's license, I know the number. I got my DL number. All I happen to have is my debit card for some reason.
Oh, that's
and
what
they're thinking, bing, 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 because I need that second form.
Yeah.
So, and then I would say, well, listen, we'll just run it just so I can get this free teddy bear. I doubt I'll get it anyway.
Yeah. This whole scam.
I'm not going to get it anyway, but let's just run it so I can get this free teddy bear. And I've got this debit. And then all of a sudden it processes because I know this guy's got a 780. So, oh man, just give me that. And then I'll just run to the house and I can't use this approval anyway with no ID. So just and they're going to give it because they want the bonus. They want whatever it is.
So they want the credit for getting you
just
signed
give
up.
me that
So
receipt.
what he's saying is that they'll run the credit and approve you just on knowing what your ID and knowing all your personal information and a debit card. So then you'll take the receipt becomes the credit card, because then if they scan the receipt, it accesses their credit card account. So he's like, just give me the receipt, I'll run to the house and get the ID for you. Oh yeah, because I just made $25 for getting you approved for a credit card as a clerk.
Yeah.
But really, he does what? Really, you do what? You go and you shop?
Of course.
Yeah.
You leave that
Because
store, go to
the-
another one.
Because the whole purpose of their instant credit, and they give you this, hey, if you spend today, you can get 10% off of your purchases.
Right.
Yeah.
So I use that as, listen, I want to get as much. I'm kind of cheap. So I'm going to max this thing out so I can get the most savings
Today.
today.
It's
But
10%
and I'm
today,
not.
yeah.
I'm definitely not going to do it there because the attendant knows I have no ID. I can go to another place, and I'm the opposite of you, where I enjoy speaking to the people because I'm going to manipulate you, and I can flash an ID. It doesn't have to be John Leavenworth. It can
Oh,
be
because
any
the
ID.
name's not even on it.
Yep. No. It's just this.
That's how it
receipt.
was. That's how it was.
So I can flash the ID.
What was this, like 30 years ago?
No.
This was
2005, 6,
So
7.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, this whole scam you guys are talking about just moved online because all
yeah.
of these websites started.
Because
They
Amazon
all started
always-
offering instant credit. Like Best Buy started doing it, Target started doing it, the Walmart started doing it.
Target was our favorite.
Yeah,
Target.
everybody started doing
live
it.
there.
Yeah.
$1,000.
You apply for anything. They ask you like, like what college did you go to? And they give you like 4 different ones, and you're like, oh, boom. And they're like, what color car did you have during this period of time? Oh, it was red. Then they ask you all these like, what mortgage companies have you ever had a mortgage with? And then they give you, and you're like, oh,
they get into
Countrywide.
that when there's some type of discrepancy in that instant credits portion immediately.
Right.
The key with what he had and what he was doing, when we're at that register doing the instant credit, I'm giving you the number that's on credit. I'm giving you the address. So all these key points match. Bing, here's the instant credit. If there's some type of discrepancy, I got a new phone number, whatever small thing, there's that one discrepancy, yeah, go ahead and call. That's what Target was like. So Burdines and did all of them, they want you to call anyway. Best Buy.
Circuit
Circuit
City.
City. They
Best
want you to call
Buy.
anyway.
You're
You're going to call anyway. Michelle
Oh, yeah, we
Obama's going to
killed.
call. And
We
then that
killed
was
Best
where
Buy.
Madison,
So we'd have the LexisNexis report, and we'd be outside, and he'd have an earplug in. So when they call and ask you those questions, like what color was the such and such car that you own, and he would say what color, and he would just repeat it back because she
it's
can
so
hear
loud.
you on the phone. She can't hear the person because you're actually on a telephone.
Yeah.
So
That
she
red
can't hear the
phone.
person on the telephone. So you just repeat the question back. I remember what's so funny is I remember us talking about that. You're like, well, how the hell is she going to hear the person on the phone? I go, repeat the question back.
Right.
Oh,
in
what color?
What? Yeah. What?
Yeah,
college
it is.
did I go
It
to?
is so
Oh
loud.
year
God!
was that
I
car again?
switched around
Yeah.
a couple times.
What year was that car?
What-
Oh,
I would just repeat it because it's so loud in here.
Yeah.
So you said what college I went to. So what are the examples again?
What college was I
Barkley
going
and
to in 1996? That's the question? Yeah. That was
And then I could literally hear Madison shifting around. I could see her in my head, like sitting on this hotel bed.
Oh, no.
and
We
Indian
remember we were
style.
outside in one time we were outside, but a couple times we were out in the car, but we might be back at the house.
Yeah, this whole
Well,
scam is just
during
online
those
now.
times, they were anxious for the payout.
Yeah. But we'd be in the U-Haul waiting.
Waiting.
How small is the earbud in your ear?
This is back in early 2000s. It was huge.
Fucking headphone, like this.
But just
no,
because
just
I
any,
have-
that came
any
out like this.
earbud.
Yeah,
like,
just because I have that on doesn't mean I'm on.
Everybody
the phone.
wore those back in the day. I remember
Right,
you would,
I'm
you would
not
see everybody
hiding
with
it.
those things on.
Yeah.
I'm not hiding. I'm on the phone. They
Well,
don't
not
know
that you're
I'm
on the phone. It's just that like I have the phone attached, but
So
I'm
I've
not
got
on
the
it.
bud
Yeah.
in this ear,
And-
and the phone in
and
this
Something like,
ear.
remember the ones that went around your neck and you could just take the buds off and put them in your ear
Yes.
and put them back? Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe Zach had a pair of those.
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
I
those were
did.
popular for a while.
With the older.
This is all prior to the iPhone, by the way.
Yeah,
This is all BlackBerry.
Pre-2007.
Yes.
Yeah.
BlackBerry time. So,
Oh yeah, I remember the Blackberries. Sure, absolutely.
but yeah, you'd have to get in order to get a fake ID, you have to know someone that
was me.
that was you
Yeah.
that has a connector that made them. And if you had them, you would tell people like, "Look, I got them this much money," and then you would get surrogates that. Let's say you had a
Word of
fake
mouth.
ID for
Yeah.
$200.
Mine were 3.
With
300,
then
yeah.
I would tell everybody it's 400 because I'm gonna make 100 because I'm gonna deal like I'm gonna be the middleman. So I'm gonna bring you customer, and that's you put the word out. So generally, people who are in the scamming arena know someone that's doing IDs. But I think my friend, let me call. It's kind of like you send the word out. It's like
Maybe you just go online now and order.
Oh my
from,
God.
these
Yeah, I was
think he's right.
vending online. I was
think he's
vending
right.
online.
Yeah.
Almost all my
But
IDs
you
I
could do.
sold.
I mean, you can do that now. You know.
Coincidentally, a lot of those online IDs that come in, I've heard, are crap.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
like paper thin.
Right, but-
They're
yeah.
advertising, I've got holograms. I've
But
got
you got to
this
look at it
and
like
that.
this way. If you go to 3 different websites and you pay $400 for the same ID from 4 different websites,
You're
one
going
of
to
them's
get 4
go-
pieces of garbage.
Well, I think one
Unless
of them's
it's
probably
reputable.
good. One of them's obviously you can go on, you can look at the reviews. Are these decent? Are they, so you're probably going to get one. Let's assume you pay $400 to 3 different people. That's $1,200, and you only get one decent ID. For $1,200, that's worth it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
for-
To get
for the
one
purposes of
working
this-
decent ID.
So for the purpose of this exercise, we're assuming that all of this is going to take an ID. So we're assuming
Right.
that we can get a hold of this good ID.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to figure out where you're going. It's
Yeah.
different what you guys would do. You guys are banking on getting someone's information that has good credit.
that also requires what I call mining.
Yeah.
So you'd have to ask, like, where can I get? And probably like now you can buy it online. Back in 2000, early 2000,
You
that
had to
shit
go
was
dumpster diving and shit.
dumpster
sometimes,
diving,
Yeah.
or employees of
Yeah.
banks and companies.
You
That's
had
my
to know
thing.
somebody.
That's
Yeah,
my
yeah.
thing. I'm
Yeah.
gonna find.
Oh, I was huge.
I would. Yeah.
back in the day.
Anybody I meet, like, what's your girl do?
Yeah. All your
Yeah.
guys' operations were
I
analog.
always.
Oh, she
Always.
Oh my God.
Anybody.
Ask him.
We're
Ask him.
best friends.
Every single person that we met was a potential.
Like,
Yeah,
what is
see-
your girl? Especially in jail. Like, what does your girl do? Oh, she works at you. Really?
All 3 of you
Right,
guys.
a part
make
of the
some money?
conversation.
All 3 of you
What do you
guys.
do for a living?
Hey.
All 3 of you guys. All of your operations were analog.
Ooh.
Probably
right.
Mine were all digital. Like I never had to interact with anybody ever. I never had to convince anybody of anything. I never had to talk to anybody about anything. Nothing. Like I never had to rely on somebody being in a store or giving me information. Like that's just what separates. I think the crimes that I did between you guys, because you guys are more like I know a chick that works here that she can get us this information.
Yeah.
Like I just never. Like I never went that route ever.
So when I do these,
He was surveying people on the
I do
street.
these home title lock commercials, and I do interviews for home title lock and stuff where I get interviewed, and that's one of the things I always mention is that I'm like, when in my day, I physically had to go to the bank. I physically had to go into public records. I physically had to go to the title company. I physically had to meet, these guys that I'm surveying. Like, and now it's like you could take your laptop and you can go sit in a Starbucks and you can sit here. I can go online and search public records and download your the deed to your house. I can open up bank accounts in the name of a fake ID. I can apply for loans online. I can schedule loans, and in all but 13 states, you don't even have to go to the closing anymore. You can go to, it's called they're called remote notary closings. So
Wow.
they send you all the documents. You then sign all the documents. They then have somebody come on who's a remote notary. Let me see your ID. Let me see your face. That you do that whole thing, and then they notarize all the documents. They then wire the money to the bank accounts that you now have access to online. Like everything that I used to do in person is now able
Virtual.
to be all of it.
Yeah, and now if they request any documents, I can make them and send them. You want my driver's license? Here you go. You want my birth certificate? Here you go. You want my high school diploma? Here you go. You want my mortgage? Here you go.
And by the way, the only thing that would stop this type of crime is home title lock. Home Title Lock monitors your property records, alerts you of any changes, and if you are a victim, they jump in with their team of restoration experts to resolve the issue. You can get a 30-day free trial of their triple lock protection and a complimentary title history report by going to hometitlelock.com and using promo code MATT30 or click on the link in the description box.
So even back then, there were the virtual crooks. Like there were the guys that, were getting the numbers, because I remember we were trying to get credit card numbers to do this credit. And I've had guys that they were like, oh yeah, I could get these, cards online and stuff where with how we were operating and when I was operating, I would rather go get that credit card number. Like I back then, how I was getting my info, like I would go to, a hotel with a concierge that looked like he smoked weed.
I could never even approach anybody like that.
Yeah, but I'm super
Recruiting was my favorite.
Recruiting is my favorite.
Yeah, you guys dig
like
it.
I'm a blue collar.
Yeah, I'm puking in my mouth on the way into the lobby.
I'm built different. Like that's a whole part of the allure.
Yeah.
Like going in and I love dressing the part. You don't know who I am until I tell you who I am.
Yeah.
And I can make whatever believable about whatever. That's why when Zach was like, hey, let's do it, I'm like, where have you been all my life?
Yeah.
I can't wait to scam and fraud and put on this costume and become whoever it is I tell you I am.
Social engineering.
Yo, and my
basically
thing was, in order to get information, I would see you as this. He's probably with a little bit of the bullshit.
Yeah.
I would write my phone number down on a $100 bill and give you that with it. Hey man, listen, give me a call later, bro. It's about some money. I've never not had a return call.
You know the problem. You know what the problem? Most people look at that is that they think, oh, you give him the $100 and he never calls. But what does it matter if you give out that to 5 different guys and one guy calls?
Yep.
And you make $100,000, then some people be like, "Oh, you lost $400." I didn't lose $400. I knew I was going to lose $400.
Yep.
It's I mean,
it's the
worth
cost of
investment.
advertising.
It's the investment.
It's the cost of everything.
Most people are nickel and diamond, though.
I've never had people not call because it's the curiosity.
That's the difference, though.
Yeah.
It's the curiosity. And I'm telling you in the intro, it's nothing illegal, bro. It's just to have a job opportunity.
I had that happen to me one time in South Beach, but the dude wanted me to jerk off on camera.
Well,
that I didn't know until I gave him a call later. He did the same thing with me though.
Right.
Same thing. So you want to make $150, $200. And he's like, he gave me his phone number and he walked off.
Was he
This big old muscle dude. I'm like,
when he handed you the money?
Clean that $100 bill.
Look, when he handed you the money, did he hold your hand a little bit longer?
no, he just
The
seemed like a
handshake?
normal dude. And then I called him a week later. And he wanted me to come over and jerk off on camera. It's like, fuck.
That reminds me of the.
Now, talk about a scam.
And that's before OnlyFans.
Yeah. This is like 2003, 2004. You know?
Good Lord.
That reminds me of the.
So after you spent the money, what happened?
I was gonna say, do you still have a copy of the tape?
Yeah.
Reminds me of there was a girl coming up here saying she was gonna give out free blowjobs and a cup of coffee if you just gave her what was it some toilet paper. And they go, oh my God, well that's ridiculous. I know. I think she went down there over by Johnson's and he holds up the coffee cup. She's got a cup.
I saw that on a TikTok one time. Said she was giving out something like a Snickers bar and a blowjob. Right. And then he showed hold up the Snickers bar like, I think she went up there. That is so funny. I think she went that way.
I was gonna say, you know what's so funny is that whenever people, so like one of my scams that I had done that it's funny because you still have we were talking about this. You don't really have to see the person now. Like if you could convert that scam to today, for example, you don't even have to see anybody now. And like
that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, and like you guys were like, you need good credit. You need to get a dump that somebody has good credit. You can make the credit card. You can do all these things. You still need somebody with good credit, but when I was doing it, and there were times I used people with good credit or I created people with good credit. But the easiest version was if you can eliminate somebody with good credit and just get like, like a homeless person's.
You're so right.
Well, and the way
that's why it ended up having me go to jail like 3 times.
Well,
using people with good credit.
The way I would do that is because if you have an asset, then people want to lend to you. Not, hey, I want you to give me a credit card for $20,000. I could go and, I would go rent the house. I would go meet the people and everything. But now, because of like Airbnb and everything, like now you could go survey a homeless person, get his information, order an ID in his name from some Russian website, get the ID. Now, granted, the homeless person has seen you, okay, admittedly, but the chances that they're going to track down a homeless guy 3 states away, like if you go to Oklahoma and get 5 guys, and then you go to South Carolina, and then all you have to do is you've got the ID, you order an ID. If you order 10 IDs, what does it matter? If I spend $4,000 and I just get 1 ID that's passable, that I can go into the bank or even go online, because this guy's going to have an ID. You can survey somebody and say, hey, I just need to get your ID. Oh, I don't have an ID. Sorry, I can't use you. You just wait. You talk to 20 guys. You're going to get some guys that have IDs. You pay them $20. You fill out the survey and you get all their information. And then you get somebody online to make that ID only with your picture on it, because I got all his information. So you open up a bank accounts online, and now you've got several bank accounts online that are open. And then you just you then rent an Airbnb for 2 weeks. And then you rent the Airbnb, you call up several hard money lenders, like 3 hard money lenders, to meet you at the Airbnb. You know what a hard money lender is?
Yeah.
Okay. So like a hard money lender is like a lender, but he's not licensed because he's only lending his own money. It's perfectly legal. It's like you've got a house for $400,000, they'll lend you $300,000.
Is it like the title loan premise?
How do they put a lien on your property if they're just a hard money lender? You have to go through a financial institution, right?
No. Anybody can write it up and file. I can file a lien right now on my next door neighbors. Now, would it hold up in court? Probably not. But anybody can file, especially if I file a mortgage.
In fact, there's no contesting what's filed in public record.
Yeah, there's
about
none.
Your property.
It's just they record it.
It's nuts.
And so what happens, and by the way, these guys are all like, they do this all the time. They actually have a closing. So, and somebody notarized it, and they record it, and it's perfectly legal because they did lend you the money and you did sign the mortgage. So what I'm saying
so who does that? Like a
title company.
A title company comes and does the closing.
They don't come in, you go to them, but yeah. But in you could actually you don't even have to go.
They certify. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm stopping.
They notarize it.
Yeah, they certify that.
I was going to say,
there was a transaction, and what's in public record is legitimate.
Can just a notary public come and do it? Somebody who
it's more than that, because the money has to go from you, the hard money lender. It has to be wired to the title company, and then they create a document that says, "Hey, this guy wired us $300,000. He's giving this guy a mortgage, and then I have to sign it, and they notarize it. And there's a closing statement that shows like the title company got $1,100 to write a title policy and $500 to search the title, and they're going to charge $30 to record it. Like they show where all the costs go. But in the end, the money has to go from you, the hard money lender, to the title company, and they get dispersed either by wire or check. So I'm saying I could rent an Airbnb for 2 weeks. I could then go online and take the warranty deed. I could check and see if there's any mortgages, create satisfaction of mortgages, record those online. And I could then take that warranty deed and transfer it from the true owner's house or name into the fake identity's name. So now when the hard money guys show up and they look at the house, they walk around the house and they go, yeah, this is worth about $400,000. And I've done this exact scam. Like it's not, they literally show up, they walk through the whole house.
The appraiser.
No, there's no appraisal.
Yeah, there's no appraisal. It's just the guy who's going to
give you the $400,000.
That's the same thing we were talking about. Everybody thinks the only reason you need an appraiser is if it's a bank, because the bank's not there. This is this guy's own money. He doesn't want to pay $500 to an appraiser because he already knows the area.
This is what I do for a
Right.
living, so I can find the value.
I was going to say,
Right.
why wouldn't he just send an appraiser out?
Why would he spend $500? Like, and not just, well, no, look at it like this. Right now, in our neighborhood, how many phone calls would you have to
How do you
to
find
make?
these hard money lenders?
Right now, how many phone calls would you have to make to determine how much you think this house is worth? You know what the house across the street's selling for.
Well, you could go online and look it up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, but the house that's almost identical to this house is across the street. It's selling for $430,000.
But he's
The
going to
one
want to
next
see the condition of the home.
Right. That's why he walks through it. He's going to walk through it. He's going to walk
And then he
around
knows where to go. Your
And he knows-
basement.
And
he
honestly,
knows.
they usually lower it too. Like you might be like,
Yeah,
I can
there's
sell this
wiggle
for
room.
430, and but he's gonna be like, yeah, I'll give you 400. I mean, what do I give a shit, bro? Like,
Right.
I'm not making
all
a payment.
profit.
It's all profit.
Yeah.
So if he says 400,000, you go, okay. Well, how much will you lend me? He'll go, I'll lend you 300,000. You go, oh, okay, because there's two other guys coming. Another guy's coming in 2 hours. Another guy's coming in 4 hours. So you meet those guys. They all say the same thing. They schedule closings at different title companies. Those title companies search public records and they see that you do own the property and you bought it for 400,000 and this guy's going to lend you 300,000 and they put together the closing document. This guy wires the money to each title company, gets a different wire from a different hard money lender. None of them know about each other. So if you get 4 of these guys, that's $1.2 million. And in this whole process, if somebody thinks something's wrong, you know what they do? They say, I don't feel comfortable. I'm not going to do it. So if you call 4, but listen, I've done this. I did this in Atlanta. I've done this in Orlando. I've done this in Clearwater.
But so analyzing that,
I did this in Tallahassee.
I knew I saw you.
analyzing that because everything is now online. Because when you did it,
I had to
none of it was online.
Yes. And Boseak mentioned something to me when that's kind of one of the things that kind of got me thinking about this is Boseak mentioned most of these Airbnbs, you never meet any of these guys.
You never meet the owners, you mean?
Never meet the owners. You walk up and there's a little keypad. You push the, it's 227 and then it opens up.
Oh my God.
You've got the key.
I think I know what he's going to say.
Right. And so
you can do
if-
it without even being there.
I don't have to meet the guy the hard money lender. I can just say, hey, listen, man, I'm not in town. I'm actually in LA right now. I'm going to be back in a few days. You can
I
go
left
ahead
the
and go in.
lockbox on the door handle for you.
Yeah,
Here's
that's
the
a fact.
combination.
You
That's
can
a
even
fact.
tell them this is an Airbnb. I live in Houston,
my
Texas.
God.
I just happen to know
Unreal.
I'm borrowing against it.
Yeah.
And you're gonna say, because there's furniture and stuff in there, but it's an Airbnb, and they're gonna go, yeah. What's the code? 227. They're gonna walk through the whole place, put it back, call you up, say, listen, looks good. I can do 300,000. You go, oh, okay. Well, what's the rate you charge? I charge 14% plus 2%, and you're like, oh, that's steep, but okay.
Side note with that key box. So there's scams all in Atlanta with people advertising
Rental.
on Facebook renting houses.
I remember
Yeah.
that.
And
Getting
That's
and they're-
old.
getting
They
the
were doing
deposit.
that back in
and
2000.
they're giving them the deposit.
First month's last
and
month.
first month's
Renting-
last month.
renting houses
go
that
check
were
it
for
out.
sale.
They've got the key box
A
information.
legitimate lease agreement.
Here's a
everything.
lease agreement. So when you go in there, you're looking and everything, and they've got the key.
Yeah, you're
and
moving
let
in,
me
and
know.
the owner shows up like, what the fuck's going on?
There was a chick.
How horrible. To
Dude,
me,
it's crazy.
I would not have the heart
That's fucked up.
to do that to somebody.
Oh, it's that's nothing. There was a chick that was in South. How much did the girl got? $350,000. She leased a place for like a week, and then she put it online for sale. People were showing up, and she was taking $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 deposits, saying she was selling the house under market value, and people are giving 15 grand, 20 grand, 5 grand just to hold it. And they were writing a check to a title company. But she just opened
Yeah,
a bank
yeah.
account in a title company, $350,000.
This was a black woman, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does that even have to?
I'm just saying,
It's the same. Well, I know that because I think her name was like, Marquisa or something. I don't know. But
Marquise.
anyway, she was,
That's
listen,
horrible.
Her name was Kathy, guys. Her name was.
$350,000
That
in
is
like a week.
to me like what you're doing
But
to
the
a family
originality.
or
And-
someone for
fuck,
money.
you know what's funny about that?
It's
Yeah, yeah.
messed up.
Boseak goes, when we did it, Boseak said, because we saw the pictures of her and she's like 22 years old. And Boseak goes, no, it's not her. She had to have somebody else that knows what's going on that was in this. And sure enough, A week later, after they arrested her, they arrested the other chick who was like 35
You could tell she
years
wasn't
old.
the. I looked at her and I could tell she wasn't the brains of the
wasn't the
operation.
brains.
No,
Oh
she
my
was the face
goodness.
of it.
Yeah.
I knew immediately.
And that comes from all of our experience because you can always, we can always tell like, oh, that's not your scam.
Yeah, right away. I'm like, yeah.
Where'd
I
you
could ask
learn
you
that
2 or 3
from?
questions and know that you're not the brains.
So who was actually doing the paperwork? Oh, that was okay. Let's
This shows
talk.
how things have just evolved. You know, it's funny too. Like going to. Do you remember when we were in prison? And it's funny. He would tell me about a scam that he had ran, and it for Zach, it was always this: the hardest thing for Zach to do was get the money in a bank he had access to. Getting the money out of the bank was easy. For me, the hardest part of my scam wasn't getting it was easy for me to get $1 million in a bank account. It was getting the money out. The only way I could think about how to get the money out was go in and ask for cash. Can I have $7,000? Can I have $4,000? This guy, he's transferring money. He's putting it onto cards. He's doing this. He's buying this asset, selling. He's doing all these things and draining the money, getting other people to go in and get the money. Like I didn't know how to do any of that. And it's the same thing with this, is that once you go to prison and you network up with all these guys, like to me, getting the 1.2 million in a bank account, that's the easy part. The hard part is getting it out.
My question to you is, why didn't you just write checks on the account and have people either cash the checks or cash the checks yourself under different identities?
How many people do you have to deal? Like once again, that's a lot of people that you have to. And then what happens is this: the account starts draining, and then they'll shut the account off and tell you to come in.
Red flags
Yeah.
in it. So
Right. But here's the thing, though: you can, if you were to do, for instance, I knew a guy that he bought and sold silver and gold and precious metals.
Oh yeah.
And he literally would have people wire him $80,000. He'd buy silver. He then calls a company that packages it and mails it to him. FedEx. They would literally leave it by the front door. $80,000 sitting on a FedEx package, leaning up in $80,000 in silver or gold.
Bullion, coins, whatever.
Yeah, and he'd go and get it. You could do the same thing with diamonds. I knew a guy that was literally he'd buy a couple $100,000. He'd wire the money, they know it's good, and they'd mail him the diamonds.
Yeah, I think crypto's the move now though, because they got Bitcoin ATMs where
Yeah,
you can
that's-
just
I
go
was
right
gonna
up
say,
to.
What do they have? What is it? There's one in Tampa.
There's
No.
a handful.
yeah, there's a handful. I've seen several. There's one right on.
Somebody was asking me, hey, where's the Bitcoin ATM? I'm like, so I'm looking it up. I'm like, I think I had given them an address and they went and they're like, no, that one's not there anymore and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, I don't know, man.
I know
I don't
there's
even
the
deal with
international mall,
Bitcoin.
the international mall in Tampa, the big one. There's a couple. There's like 2 there. 2 or 3
yeah, I
there.
didn't. I didn't.
And now
I thought it was like one.
They're at the airports now. They're starting to stick them in the airports as well.
Wow.
So yeah, as long as you got that Bitcoin wallet and you walk right up there and type that wallet number in, you're cashing out.
And even my bank,
I
Yeah,
think
that's
my
the
bank
problem with Bitcoin
apps.
is that it is traceable. Like you can move it here and here and here, but eventually
Because it's open ledgers. So anybody that moves any money on the blockchain, you can see, but you only have the wallet name. You don't have nobody's tied, because I can open a Bitcoin wallet anonymously. They don't ask you for your social security number, your date of birth, your name, none of that shit. It's just a string of numbers. So people can see, okay, this money went from this wallet to this wallet to this wallet, but then they have people who cash out Bitcoin. So, okay, I'm gonna send my Bitcoin to your wallet and then we're gonna meet up somewhere and you're just gonna give me cash. And it's just straight up dealing with one person on one person, and they got the ATMs that you can go cash out the ATMs now as well. And then there's a lot of payment. You can buy houses with Bitcoin now. You got car lots accepting Bitcoin to buy cars. You got,
Yeah, but the problem is if it's illegal funds going into Bitcoin and I buy a house, that just tells the cops, like, here's his address.
Well,
He
this
just
is
bought
where he
it.
lives.
Yeah, you have to be able to get it out in cash or an asset that you can then resell. The great thing about
But after moving that money around to 50 different wallets,
it's
they
hard
don't
to-
know.
Well,
But
or
there's
one of
still,
those-
even when you're moving around the 50 different wallets, you're moving it around the 50 different wallets.
Well, yeah, I
There's
understand, but
footprints.
But Bitcoin
there's a
disseminates
lot
like
of
that.
footprints.
That's how Bitcoin moves around, though. So it's not weird to see one wallet go to like 50
But if I'm
different wallets.
investigating it, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
you-
walk those 50 different houses
Well,
to
which-
find the
I
end of
But
that.
the wallets are
What-
anonymous, so you don't know who owns them.
But you know
but
where
you
the
know-
next transaction went to.
Well, and
Right.
a lot of
Anonymous
times
here,
you can-
anonymous
Yeah,
there,
yeah, yeah,
anonymous
yeah.
there. You just keep finding it until there's a name.
The way to do it, the way the Bitcoin billionaire, all the big scammers do, is they would go to what is it? An exchange. They'd send it to an exchange, and then it gets lost because now the exchange is issuing you more stuff. Now they could then track that. The point is, at some point, you have to get it out of Bitcoin. Whether they can track it completely or not is questionable. But for the most part, unless you want to spend hours and hours and days sifting and moving in this, the best part is to try and get the money into a bank account and out of the bank account into assets that you could just resell that aren't titled.
Yeah.
Well, I would counter that anything that you do digitally has a digital footprint, regardless if that name is a pseudonym or whatever. Because
you can dead end a lot of those digital,
but it has to be liquidated in order to dead end it.
Yeah,
even with the launderers, the whole premise is to get that stuff off of where it's at, liquidate it. Now I have it. Now it can be redeposited.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Some
is you
other
have to figure
way,
out how do I liquidate it? Is that you buy something like precious metals? Because you buy the precious metals. If you're buying $100,000 worth of gold, it costs you or let's say $100,000 worth of diamonds. It costs you about 3 to 6% just to buy it. That now I've got the $100,000 less, let's say $3,000. I can then turn around and go to another diamond person and sell it to them. They're going to charge 3% to buy it from you, but they're going to cut you a check. Those diamonds aren't traceable. So now I got a check, and any corporation I want that check issued to. Did it cost me 6 to 9%? Yeah, it did. But it's worth 9% to get it back in the bank, and then you just pay taxes.
But that
on
original sale is traceable. So if you're using, let's say I get all these Bitcoins and I buy the diamonds, so they can see that it went to here and you bought the diamonds.
Oh, you don't want to go back to that.
But there's the liquidation part.
Yes.
Because I purchased it. Now I can anonymously or however take the liquid and sell it.
Yeah, the asset.
Now I can put it on, and now I can do whatever.
There's plenty of ways to cash out Bitcoin without it leading back to a person. I mean, this isn't my area of expertise by any means, but I'm sure there's plenty of ways to get your money out of Bitcoin without actually tying it back to any kind of individual single person.
What I know of anything that is digital, Bitcoin,
it's
dog, it's trackable.
Right.
Well, now
just by the very nature of
it. But now it's anonymous.
Right.
So you can do, that number did this.
Right.
But if they're rewinding time and I know that this number is hot.
But whatever that
number
does. But once it goes into the pot of the exchange, it's not guaranteed that all of that line of Bitcoins came out and went to. So they don't know specifically. It kind of gets lost. Not saying that you couldn't do. You're not saying you couldn't do a deep dive. You have to do a deeper dive to find out.
But if I'm Johnny, if I'm Johnny,
well, it
if
depends
I'm
on
the
what you're
economics
moving.
crimes expert. And we're doing an investigation. It's ABC, bro.
Yeah, he's gonna follow it.
It's
He's gonna follow it until he
ABC.
finds it.
Yeah,
I'm
but
gonna follow
if it's
this,
$1 million,
and it's simple.
I'm sure they're not gonna do all that resource.
If it's $1 million, yeah.
Absolutely. They'll do that for a third of it.
Right.
They'll do it for a third of it.
I mean,
There's a victim in the crime.
Right. There are people that make their entire livings just tracking Bitcoin scams. Like they just tracking the money.
You can get your money out of these exchangers anonymously. Like just how you set up a bank account under somebody else's identity, you can go to these exchangers under somebody else's identity.
Under a business.
Get the Bitcoin into the exchanger. Then once you pull it out of the exchanger, you just disappear like a fart in the wind.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Because it's out. But anything, even it's going in this exchange. They're following this number. They don't know what name is on it. So this number broke into 7. Oh, well, I've got 7 different footprints.
And here's the beauty of Bitcoin.
Following all of them.
I'm just following all of them. There's no name on it.
Let's say you steal $100 million in Bitcoin and you have it in an account.
I love this fantasy. Go ahead.
They can't do anything about it. They can't seize that account.
Get the money.
They can't take that account. They can't seize that account. They can't do anything to it because it's on an open ledger. That's just by the very nature of how Bitcoin operates. They can watch that account. And if that money gets moved out, then they'll know where it gets moved to. But it's not like the federal government can go in and be like, oh, I need to shut this Bitcoin wallet down. They can't. It's impossible.
Because they don't know
That's the fucking beauty of it.
The only time that they've been able to do that is when it's gone into an exchange and they've had jurisdiction over the exchange and they've contacted the exchange and said, don't send that money anywhere. That's connected to a bank fraud. It's $2 million. And then they're like, oh shit.
Yeah, there's accounts right now that the FBI have been watching for decades with the hundreds of millions of dollars of Bitcoin in them. They can't do anything about it. All they can do is watch.
And the investigation purpose is falls under tax. Like this huge number, did it get taxed? Or this huge number that's going out the country, that's the crime.
That's the crime.
But that's what opens up the
It's
investigation.
It's also money laundering.
Yeah.
Laundering,
And if it's
RICO, that's all.
That's-
that stuff.
that's the-
Or if they know that this
Step up from not
crypto
paying
is
taxes.
stolen from this
yeah,
wallet, then that's
bank fraud, wire fraud.
Wire
You
fraud.
know, I think even, and I want to. This is funny because I had this conversation the other day. Somebody got charged with like mail fraud, and I was trying to think of, because he hadn't mailed anything, but he got charged with mail fraud, and then I started thinking like, are they considering he had sent emails? And I thought, are they considering emails part of mail fraud?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so.
It's gotta be
You know
snail
what?
mail.
Like the mail fraud and the with the money laundering or the access devices. Like
Those are just door openers.
those are just the most like
Generic.
it doesn't matter. Like I don't give a damn what you did.
One size
You've done
fits all.
one of those
Yeah, we
three.
can throw something in there. Well, you know, it's so
You've done
funny.
one of those
I was
because they're
charged with
so
all three of
broad.
them.
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
charged with-
that's so broad. That is so like if I had your social security number, oh, that's access device fraud. How? A social security number is an access device to that person. So like what
It's
the
more like-
hell are you
more like-
talking
more
about?
like aggravated identity theft. But so
No.
really okay. So well, listen. Here's what I'm thinking is I got charged with money laundering and I was like, I haven't they said no, you stole money, you defrauded the bank out of money, you put it in a bank account, you removed it. Removing it is. I'm like, how else was I going to get the money there? It doesn't matter. As soon as you removed it, every dollar it can be a charge.
Every
transac-
dollar?
Well, every transaction. is a
Oh,
charge.
okay,
So
all
every
right.
time I walked in and I said I want $3,000, that's $3,000 in money laundering. That's a whole nother charge. Because then 2 days later I went back and said I need $9,000. That's another. Every one of them. They had hundreds of them that I'd been in, and it was like just removing the money in cash, money laundering. I don't see how that's money laundering, but that's what they said. Now I got that charge dropped,
Yeah.
but still.
It's just like any charge. Like walking into a convenience store with a credit card, you can either charge it with this, or usually the beginning detectives be like, I'll tell you what, identity theft, fraudulent use of defrauding a pawnbroker,
Yeah.
larceny because of
Theft.
the amount
You
of
pleaded all the way
such and
down to
such.
grand theft, pretty
Yep.
much.
At the end of the day, I get one charge, a
Theft.
3rd degree felony.
Yeah.
And they just pile it
the
on
amount
so
of
they can
whatever
tell
happened.
the press like, hey,
Well,
this guy.
it's your bonding with the status. They want to make sure that bond is up here.
oh yeah.
We're going to charge you with all this stuff. We'll let the courts and the
Technically,
states
it's 50
figure that stuff
charges,
out.
but you're only going to get really plead guilty to one.
Yeah.
But we're gonna tell everybody in the country.
But right now it's 50 because we don't want you getting out of jail.
especially if you're someone like me that I firmly believe in shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
So whenever I'm
Absolutely.
and I'm in cuffs, there's zero talk.
Yeah.
I am super uncooperative
Yeah.
because I know you know who I am.
Yeah, you've got.
That's
you've
why
got
you
a rap
arrested me.
sheet
I'm
all
not
the
even
way.
I'm not
Yep.
even a dickhead about
So,
it. I'm
yep.
just like straight up like I don't feel like I have anything to benefit by cooperating with you in any way, shape, or form or giving you a statement. I'll take my chances with the judge. I know you got a job to do. I'm not trying to be an asshole,
They
but I
are
don't have
the-
anything to benefit from this. I'm
That they
sorry.
are the low end
the way
of
I
the
go.
very courteous.
That's how that's exactly how I talk to the police.
Yep.
Oh, it's funny.
Fuck 'em.
He got pulled over by the cops, and his vehicle was searched when he was on his way here from
In Tennessee, they got me in Tennessee. I was on my way down here from Indiana. I was moving down here. This was 2022. And these guys, for sure, they pulled me over. They searched my car. I had everything I owned in the vehicle at the time. They pulled all of it out. They went through every bag, every box,
Son of
anything
a
with a
bitch.
zipper or a pouch in it. They went through it. They looked through everything. Obviously, I'm not moving drugs. I don't have anything on me. I don't have no warrants. So I just sat there completely courteous with them. They opened the trunk. I was like, you guys looking for the mother load back there or what? They're like, no,
But
just...
they did that after they ran your name. Is that what made them?
Yeah,
oh,
they ran me. I didn't have any no warrants, no nothing. They're like, and then right when he was giving me my stuff back, he's like, do you mind if I search the vehicle? I'm like, absolutely not. Go ahead. An hour later, they're still searching. You know what I mean? They're like, we're looking for drugs and large amounts of cash. It's basically
Aren't
what
we
they
all?
they told me what they were looking
Aren't
for.
we all?
Yeah. And I was like, you guys looking for the mother load or what? And they're like, no, we're looking for large amounts of cash and drugs is pretty much what comes through here.
Sidebar.
The worst police-
Sidebar.
Yeah.
You mind if I search the car? Fuck you. Fuck no. I don't
If
know
I
what
had large
roach
amounts
fell
of
up under
drug-
the
if I-
seat.
If I had large
I don't know.
amounts of-
I am always saying
Yeah.
no.
If I had
Do you
large amounts
mind?
of cash, would
Do you
I
mind
be
if I,
driving
while
through
you search
Tennessee?
my car, I'll search yours?
Yeah.
The-
and what's
the-
funny is they never searched my person.
Hopefully not. The
I could
worst-
have whatever
they're
I had.
looking
I
for
could have. I
shit.
could have. I could have had anything.
They
on
never
me.
pat search you.
They never pat searched me. Never. I had nope. They were more concerned about searching the vehicle than they were about me. And I was being so courteous
They
with
must
them.
have, that's a mind slip.
Yeah.
They slip
The
up.
only
never
time,
searched me.
the absolute only time I'm respectful with the law, and I get pulled over
It's
a lot
during
on a
release.
motorcycle.
It's during release.
Well, during the release.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, peace.
That's after you've given me my license registration back and told me that you're going to give me a warning.
Once I know I'm leaving.
Once that and beforehand and links in the description below for my six gear check now. But anytime I'm pulled, I'm a dickhead because you're the law. We're not friends.
Yeah. See, I'm
Like
the- I'm
you're
the
pulling
opposite.
me over. There's 1,000 things I could have been doing. Not one of them is getting pulled over by you, dickhead.
So,
Even if you
I
know
just
you're
got
in the
pulled
wrong.
over. I just
Of
got
course,
pulled
I am
over.
in the
And he
wrong
gave
because
me
I
a
got
warning.
lights in
have
back
you,
of me.
have you ever been searched your car?
What? That's
Often.
all that ever happened to me when we lived in Atlanta. We were searched constantly and always
Weekly basis.
We got searched so much. I started saying no. I'm like, hey, I'm not dealing with all these freaking searches. So we were searched so much constantly that they always tell us we smell weed. We want to search the car.
Yep.
I'm
They
like,
always
what?
use that as a
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And then they search the car. They're taking apart the seats, and then they like, okay, y'all can go. I'm like, but whoa. You said you smelled weed, and you found nothing.
Yeah.
How the hell do you think you smell?
So and the counter to that,
What's
these
your name?
days,
What's your name?
These
You
days,
might as well take the loss, bro. That's take the loss and leave.
Hey, can I-
these days, the counter to that, as soon as they start talking, hit that record button.
Oh yes.
I have a question.
So you're saying that I don't smoke weed. I've never smoked weed. So you're saying that you smell weed. Your detective skills, all of your training has brought you to today, and you smell weed in the car. Let me just focus this in. All right. So under threat of arrest, obviously you're gonna search the car. Let's see what you find. Guys, we'll be back in a moment. And I'm gonna record all of this, and
Yeah,
then
they
I
don't
complain.
like dealing with assholes like that.
Yeah, they don't. And I'm recording. You do your power trip shit. They don't like that.
So listen. So here's the
Matt has a
takeaway.
a punctuation.
Here's
on
the
all this.
takeaway.
Go ahead.
Can you pan to Zach and Cyx and Boseak and me? Never been searched. I don't know. It's
That
semi-white
privilege.
semi-white privilege.
White privilege.
That is a lie.
Non-tattooed, clean cut guy. What?
I don't benefit
My
from
car.
that
I've never
white
been pulled
privilege
over and
stuff.
searched ever in my life.
So didn't you tell me that one time in North Carolina they searched? Was it or South Carolina? Were you in South?
I've committed fraud in South and North Carolina. Yes.
Oh, it's confusing. Then what are the Carolinas?
And
non-prejudicial
Nashville and-
Carolina.
They
Right.
did not search your car, and you had Becca. I suppose you had Rebecca in the car.
No.
You didn't tell me that.
I've never. been
Did you get
searched.
pulled over with her once?
I've been pulled over. Matter of fact, I was pulled over with Becky one time, and we had a file folder
You dated
in
a
the
white girl named
trunk.
Becky.
Of course. A file folder in the trunk that actually had a bunch of different IDs. Like I had these files with, I'd have all your stuff. I'd have the ID I had in your name. Yeah. I would have all the credit cards.
Zach calls them costumes.
Yeah, I call them legends after the CIA calls them legends. So I had all these legends, and guy walked up, and I'm joking with the cop the whole time. Matter of fact, one time I got pulled over because I'm driving in an ID that is not my ID, so I'm driving like a fucking lunatic.
Please note that this is a clean-cut white guy,
Of course.
talking about multiple pullovers.
Oh,
But go
listen,
ahead.
I've got a collared, long sleeve collared shirt on. I'm driving a brand new Infiniti G35,
Which doesn't smell like marijuana.
I don't smell like marijuana. I pull over.
Neither did I.
Guy comes up, and one time I had this is the one you've talked about because I write about this one in the book. The guy, it was a whatever, highway patrolman.
Yes.
He had one. They have
Yes,
the
that's
hat.
Georgia, yeah.
Yeah. So
Was that Georgia?
Georgia wears them.
Oh no, was it you in Georgia?
No, I don't think I
They
was in.
shower with those hats.
I think I was in South Carolina. I want to say I was in South or North Carolina. So they must have them there too.
They may wear them there
So
too, yeah.
when I got pulled over, as he's walking towards the car, and I'm thinking, no big deal. Like I've got a valid driver's license in this guy's name. The car's in the name. I got full coverage insurance. Like I'm good. And he walks up. He didn't walk onto the driver's side. He actually, at the last minute, he walks to this side. When he walks to that side, I look over and I realized I've got multiple bags, that when you go into the bank and they give you money, they put it in that little envelope. I got multiple envelopes. I got about 30 grand in the visor. And I know he sees this. My car's getting searched.
That might have been what I remember.
So I look, as soon as I looked over, it was the first time I was ever truly like, oh shit. I'm like, oh my God. And he talked to me, and he bent over and kind of crunched so he could just see me. So he can't see, but he was stooped down that if he didn't have that hat on, he could have definitely seen those envelopes hanging over.
It was in the driver's side visor
No,
or the
it was in
passenger
the
side?
passenger.
Damn, why would you stick him over in the passenger visor?
I don't know why.
Comfortable.
Comfortable. Super comfortable.
You know how we do once we're making money and all that? Invincible.
Yeah,
like, I don't know why they ever been in his side. He's like, I'll put it in the passenger visor.
But anyway, he just sat there and he's like, do you know how fast you were going? I was like, depends on how long you've been following me. I think I got it up to 90 one time. I'm like joking. I'm like, I don't know. He's like, why were you speeding? And I'm like, stupidity? He goes, I haven't heard that one before. And he goes, okay. He said, well, the license and registration. Back then you had to give it to him. And I give it to him, and he walked off, and he came back and he gave me a ticket. And I was like, yeah, no problem. Thank you.
So
and
when he walked off, did you grab the thing out of the visor?
I remember specifically I didn't. Because I remember thinking if I reach up there and I grab
he's
it,
gonna see
what
movement.
if he's watching? What if there's a camera? What if somebody else is in the car? Like, I don't know if anybody, I don't know. And I remember thinking if there's no clear choice, do nothing. And I just sat there and I thought, you just got to wait it out. Came back, gave me the ticket. I signed. He walked off. But yeah, so I remember thinking, he searches this car, I'm done. I've got 4 or 5 different legends in the back. Cash. I'm done.
It's presentation, Matt.
So
it's presentation.
I just joked.
Clean cut white guy.
Yeah, they don't hassle guys.
Everything
like this
is
at all.
matching in the car. That's a whole state trooper, and he wrote you the ticket. He wasn't doing you a favor.
No, he didn't.
Because by the letter of the law, he's not supposed to be in this car. You've got valid license, registration, insurance. What is he doing in the car?
Right.
It doesn't smell like marijuana.
It doesn't smell like weed, but they don't use that premise.
By the way, I went to traffic school.
It's the local jokels.
By the way, I went to traffic school on that ticket because if I had gotten the points on that, I gotten so many tickets in this guy's name. If I'd gotten points on that, I'd have lost his license. This is like the 3rd ticket I've gotten in like 6 months.
It? In my, I just throw it away. What?
Look at here. I know I got a good one.
No, I can't. I own 2 vehicles, and this guy's got an apartment in his name. I need this guy. I can't have him losing his license. He might. I actually, where I got that ID? I'll never forget. This was Michael Eckert. I actually put an ad in the newspaper, which is a good credit, bad credit, no problem. Good credit, bad credit, no problem. Free mortgage applications, call this number. And I had a number. He's one of the guys that called up, and I took his information to apply for a mortgage. And then what I did instead was I filled out an application to get a copy of his birth certificate. I ordered his social security card. I ordered his high school transcripts. I registered to vote in his name. I then went into the local DMV. I got a driver's license in his name. I opened up a bunch of bank accounts. I got an apartment. I bought a couple of cars. And I was
so you started to get comfortable with this guy.
And the guys at home going, man, I hope I get that mortgage.
And at some point I started, at some point I started doing this. I started going like, how can I alter this guy's identity in such a way that maybe it's undetectable? So I went and I got a lawyer. I paid him $1,500 and I had his name changed to Michael Johnson.
Change this guy's fucking name legally.
And went back to the DMV with the paperwork, and they changed it on the ID.
Scoundrel.
I feel bad.
And that guy
I feel bad.
I like that mortgage guy's gonna call me back.
No, you know what I did? I would take
this guy's life.
Stop. He's fine.
The guy's like, damn, I hope I get that mortgage.
He's fine.
Look, you know
That's
what
the
I did?
narcissist.
But you know what I did then? All these people that called, let's say 30 people called and I got their information, just to make sure it stayed looking legitimate. And this is scam maintenance. I called another mortgage company and I said, listen, I work for an app company. We run ads and take applications. Sometimes we then sell them at the end of the day. We have an overage. Can I fax you? This is back when faxes were a thing. Can I fax you the applications? The only thing we're requesting is that you pull the credit and call these guys back to tell them if they could get a loan. And they're like, you got 30 people you took loans on? Yeah. You don't want anything for them? No, but if we do sell these, typically we have a $25 generation lead. But at this point, I'll just send them to you because somebody has to do these immediately. And they were like, yeah, absolutely. And then I faxed it. So they all got their credit pulled. And then somebody called them back from this other company saying, hey, we just pulled your credit. Wanted to let you know you suck. You'll never get a mortgage. Or, hey, we can get you FHA approved. So they think that the process continued. So they don't realize I'm the middleman and I just stole your identity. Don't look at me. Don't judge me.
That's admiration
He's
right there.
judging
Like,
me.
I'm a big guy with victimless stuff.
I feel
Like,
bad.
By victimless,
opposite.
like I'm
He's
you
only
know,
interested if there's
the
victims.
sword
How is there a victim? He's
or-
fine.
come on, he is not a big guy with victimless
No,
stuff.
I was going to say,
the
you
one
had
that,
the
like,
wrong person here.
Hey, can I borrow $5? You're like, hey, Cyx, thought you were victimless. Yo, you're not that big with it. That ain't gonna work.
Something that I would do on a scam thing if I was to. Wait, what was the question? what about? I don't want to give stuff that like I guess old stuff that I've done way.
I don't do anything I'm currently into. I'm currently doing.
Currently, I'm selling cars at a great price, customized cars.
Is that
link in the
is that
description.
under Six Gear? Like
under
your
Numbers.
just like your YouTube channel?
It's under Numbers LLC,
Numbers LLC.
Yep.
Okay.
where I'm actually selling customized cars.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's good.
I'll send you
And
the link.
motorcycles. Send him a link.
I haven't gone into the selling motorcycles.
Ah, okay.
I'm scared of financing someone on a fucking death machine.
Matt will get him financed. Just have him call with the application.
I would say
My name got changed.
I would say that you could have a hustle like if you could get hold of an ID, any kind of ID. And like I to me, it doesn't matter like if it's an actual with your face, because you can, and I remember doing this because I couldn't find an ID Connect. So I knew a plethora of 7-Elevens and people always leaving a driver's license, leaving something. So I would get these
We had a
employees.
stack of them at the tattoo
I
shop.
told you
Yep.
this. Remember?
What?
Yep. So I would get these employees and say, you got IDs in there? So if anybody remotely looks similar to me and all black people look alike, anybody
God,
looks similar, I would purchase that.
I met him and he was doing that. And I'm like, that doesn't even look like you. He's like, listen, most cashiers, bank tellers, I'm like, how do they not look at the pic and go like, that is absolute. But I'm going to tell you something about that. He says that, but the person that you would never go to would be a black woman. Like, absolutely, you would never hand a black woman.
They don't play that shit.
Oh, what?
No.
They'll be like,
No
that
matter
is
what they're doing, they
not
don't play
you.
that shit.
They don't even like,
Right,
like, as
no
a
matter what
question,
it is. No matter
they don't
what it
even
is.
ask like, is this you? Like black guy, white guy, somebody might ask, is this you? A black woman would tell you.
I had
you.
somebody.
Period. In the
that
conversation.
I was actually using the driver's license because they were a licensed driver. My license was fucked up back then. So I was just speeding with this guy. And he weighed, I think, 205 or something, and was like 5. I'm 6 feet. He was 5'8" or 9. So the height, all of that stuff is irrelevant because is that you? I was like, yes, I've had cancer. I'm a cancer survivor.
Nice.
And that
That
obviously
throws them back on their hip. They're like, "Oh wow, I'm sorry, I didn't."
Yep.
They immediately are on the like, you know. Oh, I'm so sorry. I
Oh,
didn't mean to."
congratulations.
cancer does make you taller. But go ahead.
Well, they're not looking at it. They're not scrutinizing the ID anymore.
I was gonna say, does it still have your weight on it?
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't have your weight
That's
on
an
it.
identifying.
No, it doesn't have your weight
It's
on
got
it.
my height, 5'6".
That's a lie.
And a
How did he
good
get that
pair of
shit?
Male.
With a good pair of shoes.
Yeah, with a good pair. It doesn't have my. It used to have your weight on it. I know, but
Does it have your sex on there still?
Yeah,
Yeah, male.
Male.
Non-binary.
Why does yours say frequent? But anyway,
So horrible.
sex
So
frequent.
listen. So listen to this. This is funny because when I was in Nashville, Tennessee, and I don't know why this, I was just always like, wow. In Nashville, Tennessee, I had bought a house and I was renovating it, and one day I was just walking through the yard, and I looked down, and it was like there was a driver's license that had some dirt on it. I picked it up, cleaned it off, and it literally, the ID had the guy's full name, information, and his social security number on the ID.
Oh, some states do
Yeah,
that.
now
They stopped.
They
Yeah,
stopped.
they
But now
stopped
it would
doing
say NA, but it was probably 7 or 8 years old,
one
or
of the
5 years.
descriptions, it had the social on
Yeah.
it. Like on the,
In Georgia, your ID number was your social.
And
I
I
remember
was
they like that. Should be
I'm
crazy.
like,
I remember, immediately like pulled out my ID, like that's nuts. And I looked, and it still had social security number, but it just said NA. So they stopped doing it completely, but it was still even there.
state
We found
was
an
that?
older one.
What state was that?
It was Tennessee.
Old Tennessee.
Yeah, and I never used that.
I
kind of
did,
thing.
you know, I did Tennessee.
Tennessee,
I,
yeah,
got, I got busted with the Tennessee license.
I had a Tennessee line. Remember I drove
Oh
up
yes,
there?
that's right.
I
That's
drove
right.
up-
We had
I
got
love Tennessee. Chattanooga, the people are super friendly.
I used
know,
to make
very
those. They were
trusting.
easy to make.
Yep. They're
Nice.
super. Like in grocery store, like in line, people are just gonna kick up. Is that Brad Pitt?
Man, I
like
love-
it's some lady, white woman, and she just kick up a conversation with you.
That was my favorite place to live.
They were
was Chattanooga,
very friendly.
Tennessee.
Tennessee?
Yeah.
I never lived in Tennessee.
Yep, they're very friendly out there.
I surveyed.
as an average.
I surveyed like 10 or 15.
You were in Memphis, weren't you?
I've been in and Chattanooga.
Oh,
Yeah, I
love
drove
it.
there. Like we drove way out of
I've
the
been in
way.
Nashville.
Yeah,
Nashville is the
Atlanta
nicest,
to Tennessee was
nicest
what,
part of
6 hours, 4
Nashville's
hours?
like a real
no,
city.
from
Yeah.
Atlanta
Chattanooga,
From
to
Atlanta
those,
to,
they don't
to
seem-
Georgia
they're
to
like big
Tennessee.
towns.
is about an hour and a half.
Okay, yeah. 'cause I
From
remember-
downtown Atlanta to Chattanooga was like about almost 2
That
hours.
makes sense.
But from downtown Atlanta to Nashville was about 3 hours.
Do you remember when I was supposed to get I was
Now we're
going to
having
Tennessee.
flashbacks.
We had something that we were gonna do, and I had to go to Tennessee to get a driver's license. So it was a Monday.
used to love
You
it,
had
too.
this portfolio. That weekend I tore it up. I was partying crazy in the house. There was chicks in there. You Cyx, you're still going? Yeah, I'm still going. No, I'm already halfway in the car. Maybe got a half hour of sleep. Hopped in the car, drove there, took the driving test because we were supposed to get a driver's license. So I took that driver's test, got it. I was like, yeah, I got it. And you were like, you did. You just knew I wasn't going to get it. It sounded like I just woke up. I got that. I remember that.
You know what's funny? They in Tennessee, if you didn't have a Tennessee driver's license, this was back when I was doing it. They would make you take the driving test.
The road test, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was. I'm like, what? No other state does that. Hey,
They should do it.
you want to drive? You got to take the driving.
We
test.
need to
I
make
had
sure
it.
you can drive.
Yeah, seriously.
I took mine from.
Bare minimum, you got to take the written test on the computer.
No, I took.
No,
I
they
did
want
the-
to know.
I
Make sure you know how
almost
to make
failed.
a turn.
Which one?
I almost failed the written. And you hit the buttons, right? They got the buttons.
Oh,
the old ones. They had, you didn't write anything. It was they ask a question
Christ,
and
how
you'd
old
hit.
is he?
Yeah, you'd hit They had the big plastic. And I remember at one
Yes,
point,
no,
like
yes, no.
I missed like 3 of them. And
Oh, yeah, 'cause it
I was
tells
like,
you
if
as
I
you
had
go.
One more, I was like, fuck, like I'm about to fuck up. I remember when I went
And a
up to
lot
the-
of those questions are like DUI stuff. They want to
I
make
missed
sure.
the DUI one, the blood level, and the other one I missed was because I'd never heard this. They had a picture of what I thought was a pedestrian area, right? Like there were pedestrians, but just happened that one of the pedestrians was holding a briefcase, and it wasn't a pedestrian area; it was a business district.
Oh,
And I missed it. I was like, "Oh, pedestrian." They were like, "Beep." I was like, so when I got up to the counter, and I was like, I went up, and I said, "Hey, I just finished." And she's like, yeah, I see. I said, man, I almost failed that. She said, yeah, I can see that. She kind of like laughed. She said, yeah, you were close. You were one away. I was like, yeah. And then I had to go get in my vehicle and drive and come back. And the guy was like, yeah. We only had to drive down the street. He was like, yeah, you're good. Just turn around.
Yeah, that's how it was.
Yeah.
It was just
He knew.
real
He's
brief.
like, you're not a 16-year-old kid. He's like, yeah, I can see you drive. Just go back.
You've been driving for a long time.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
without a license, I see.
Got my ID. Immediately went to CarMax. Bought a car, put 20% down. I got a loan from, I remember first time buyers, you could put 20% down and they'd give you a $20,000 loan. I bought an Xterra.
Damn.
Listen, I was in Nashville was the fastest I've ever been set up in my life. Within 1 week, I have an apartment, I have furniture, I have water, I have electric, I have a driver's license, I have a new vehicle, I have a bank account, I have cell phone service. I mean, I had like cable, like everything.
Gotta love
it was like
Tennessee.
within a week.
Each one of those things can be done in one day up there.
Yeah, it's very, very, very well. I know because I had to drive the vehicle all the way back because I'm driving a vehicle that's in somebody else's name. I had to drive it all the way back to Charlotte and leave it. And I was driving that vehicle, terrified, bro, because that vehicle was in the name of a guy the cops were looking for. So I was was the worst.
You're wanted.
Talk about being nervous. I mean, and you're driving through those mountains between.
Yeah, that car would have been left at the
Tennessee
long term at the airport.
Yeah, my fear was I don't want them to
Circle
find it
K.
in Nashville.
Oh, okay. Then
That-
they know you're in Nashville.
And I actually left it in long-term parking at the airport.
That's what you do.
And then I got on a plane and flew back. Yeah, I was that whole ride. I was like, my heart was every time I saw a cop. I'm usually not concerned when I see a cop, but boy, that whole time I was like, oh fuck.
If they run the plate, you're hit.
Fuck, I'm done. Like I got to drive for the next
Cop gets
3 or 4
behind you,
hours.
you have diarrhea.
Yeah, I can't have them run the plate. I can't have them run the plate. I can't have them run.
To this day, I don't let the cops get behind me, even though I'm not doing anything wrong and all my paperwork is legit.
How do you prevent
I never let them.
turn
If I even see them getting behind me, I'll go in a gas station. I'll turn off. I'll switch lanes. I'll slow down. I'll do whatever I got to do just so those motherfuckers aren't behind me.
I, in my mind, that makes them pull you over.
Yeah,
Like
I'm the opposite.
I'll take my chances.
I'm the opposite. Like I know
Fuck
my
that, dude.
license is good, registration's good, all this is good. I got no warrants. I'm doing the right thing. I can't wait for you to pull me over. I'm one of those assholes. I roll it down this much.
really?
Yep.
Oh, I don't do any of that.
Yo,
bro.
I'm an asshole because I relish in the fact they're assholes. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
I've
There's
never had
no
a cop,
way
I've
you're
never
getting
had a cop be an
submission
asshole
from
to me ever in my life.
There's no way. I'm an alpha. There's no way
He's
you're
making
getting
me mad.
submission.
Do you understand?
making
I've
me
never
mad.
had a police officer be disrespectful to me. in
Well,
any way.
you've been a Caucasian for a long time.
Well,
Clean,
so is he.
clean cut Caucasian.
So
A
is he.
clean,
I mean,
no,
I
he's
I
got
don't benefit.
tattoos.
Listen, you know what
He's
I
a
love?
nigrin.
You know what I love?
Nigrin.
I love
They
the
treat
Eddie
me the
Murphy
same way.
skit.
Yeah, same
I-
abuse.
I love the Eddie Murphy skit where Eddie Murphy pretends to
be a white guy?
and he goes in the bank and there's a white loan officer and a black loan officer and he walks up and he sits down and he says, "Oh, what are you looking for?" "I'm trying to get a business loan of $20,000." He's like, "Yeah, you got to fill out this application. I'm going to need to see your last 2 years taxes." And then the black
white?
black, no, the because he's talking, it's 2 white guys. Eddie Murphy's a white guy because
Right.
he's got the makeup on and he's talking to a white loan officer. The black loan officer gets up and walks away and he goes, "It's okay, he's gone. How much do you need?" Yeah, no problem. He starts pulling out, he starts handing him cash. He's like, "How much?" He's like, take another 10. Take another 10. He's like, "Okay." He's like he finds out what it's really like to be a white guy.
Yeah, but I think that's
I
a real
wish.
thing.
It's
Like
not a real thing.
But no, not like that in that sense. But like privilege, I think everybody stereotypes.
They're not going to scrutinize as
I think
heavily.
everybody
Yeah.
stereotypes. Just like if you're working a cash register, naturally you're the sales guy. You're working a cash register. Beautiful blonde steps in front of you. You're mentally.
It's written into our
You
DNA.
want to be you want to be more helpful to this pretty person. This affluent person comes where you feel like they've got money.
Pull up in a nice car. They're dressed nice.
Yup.
They got nice cologne on.
Yup.
They come in.
But you
yeah,
want
they
to go
command
that
the room.
extra foot forward.
Yeah.
I also think I agree. I get the white privilege to a degree, but what I think part of it is that I am pulling up in a brand new vehicle. I am dressed very nice. I'm polite. I sound educated.
That's a stereotype.
Now, if I pulled up and I'm covered in tattoos, my vehicle's 15 years old. It's I got smoke. The windows are down. It's dinged up, beat up. It's rusted. I'm
Can't
playing the
speak proper
radio. I'm like,
English.
"Yo, what's up? What you pull me over for, man? What's going on with that? What's up, man? I wouldn't do nothing, man." They're gonna
That
be like,
is-
"I'm giving this guy a hard
That
time."
is absolutely
Even if I'm a white guy.
that is absolutely, being prejudiced, root word prejudgment.
Yeah.
I'm saying if
And
I'm
I
a white
think
guy doing that.
but I think every person on the planet prejudges.
It's part of our human nature.
I-
So
I mean, I
if I'm
think-
Johnny, it's our nature.
we have to. We have to be
period.
able to do that to identify threats in our
If I'm
environment.
absolutely, if I'm Johnny Officer, I just clocked in to find criminals. All right, guys, I'm
That's
going out to find criminals.
Yeah.
And here comes Boseak.
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 Why do I
Wow.
always?
Always
John.
mispronounce it.
Every
It's okay.
time.
John.
So in your John, no, he goes by that. If I see him, I'm Johnny Officer. I see him tattoos. He's got like a swagger about. Oh crap, he's an ex-con.
Yeah,
Let me
listen,
just check the
if I'm
trap.
driving and they look through the window and they see me and I see that they see me, I know I'm getting pulled over.
Yep.
I
Let
know
me-
I'm,
let me
I,
get-
I fucking
I'm
know
just
I'm
gonna
getting
ch-
pulled over.
I'm gonna go check
I'm not
on
doing anything wrong. I'm not speeding. I'm sitting straight up in my seat. I got my seatbelt on.
You know
my
the way-
windows aren't tinted. I'm getting pulled over just because I seen him see me.
You know how to get
So
away-
I know I'm fucked.
You know how to get around that. That's when if you look at him, make eye contact, you pick up the MAGA hat and you put it on, and you wink at him, and he'll do this,
And he's gonna return the wink.
and he'll be like, "Go about your business."
What about a
sir."
black cop?
Huh? A black?
You're fucked.
Oh no, he's still a
It
cop.
just messes up
He's
the
still a cop.
algorithm.
So you think the MAGA hat's gonna help with a
Still-
black cop?
still gonna help.
I don't
No,
know.
no.
Still gonna help.
I don't
It is.
know. I don't know.
I think you put
The reality-
You've already had one.
the reality
this
is-
week, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
The reality
Yes,
is,
I have.
Matt, I
Last
think
week.
you and I driving in a car with an out tail light, our mentality is different. You're gonna be like, my damn tail light's out. What is this, Tuesday? I got time to do it, probably Thursday,
Yeah, I did that
Friday.
this weekend.
Yep. Zach and I, and I'm gonna throw you in on this, tail lights out. Fuck.
I'm driving straight to the AutoZone.
Yeah, AutoZone is in my plans.
I'm stopping whatever I'm doing at that moment. I'm going to
and I'm
fucking
fixing this
yeah.
tail light
have
because
to.
it's a reason. And then that tail light is consciously on my mind until I
Yeah.
go get it fixed.
Yeah. Another reason why
I don't possess privilege.
Yeah. Another reason why I'm always so nervous
Upsetting.
when they get behind me is
Congratulations.
I've done so much shit in my life. I don't know what's gonna come back to get me.
Hello.
So it's like, even though I think I'm good now, I don't have any warrants, but fuck, I get pulled over and all of a sudden some horse shit
Oh
comes
yeah,
back.
we've
I'm
got
like,
some
fuck.
stuff from
My favorite
something-
stuff
or
from
something
Montana.
Escalates.
Yeah, I've done so much shit in my life that I'm just like,
listen,
fuck.
listen.
Let me say this. Let me say this real quick because that thought came to my mind. I was in Costco, and I almost this is like a week ago. I'm in line in Costco, and an old guy turning one of those drivable, whatever those electric carts,
the buggies. Yeah.
completely bumps me to almost knock me over. Right, and I look back. He's like, "Move."
wow. Wow.
That's exactly what he said. When I
I
look
would
back,
have
I'm like,
tipped
"What the
that card over.
Oh my God.
Move. Bum, 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 bum. I'm finna move.
Oh my
I'm
God.
finna move.
Like
you
the
finna see a few
rage.
moves.
Yeah.
Like I'm like you.
Was he an older?
No, he was probably like 60-ish. You know, and I want to say I'm 60-ish. You know what I'm saying?
60 can still get it.
Yeah, but
No, sir, I'm joking.
oh my God. Oh my, like, and like only thing came to mind is probation because I'm like, okay, one more month.
And I get to punch him.
Did you when he
If I
said
wasn't on paper, this would have been an altercation.
Oh my
when,
God.
when he said move, did you get like a move niggrin
Oh yes.
vibe?
Nigrin.
Yes.
You did get that vibe.
Yeah, because I'm in line and he's like right here and I'm just standing there and he doesn't say excuse me, let me get by. He was just
an
turns
old
the cart
dickhead.
and hits me.
So you didn't get
It wasn't
the-
a hard hit because the cart moved slow, but it just
but
like
you
flipped
didn't
my back foot.
get like the senile. He's just
No.
an old senile
No,
guy.
look at
You-
me like,
you got the like
move.
move.
Like I looked
you
at him like,
filthy
what? I'm like,
animal.
what the? He goes, move. Like I hit you. You're not facing me. I hit you. You should have moved. Like move.
He's just an old dickhead.
Like what the?
Yeah.
Move. I need to get by. Move.
I would have turned around. If he did that to me, I'd have turned around. I'd be like, let me ask you a question before I move. Just if I spit on your face, what are you gonna do about it? Like when I meet that kind of stuff with the same energy now, mind you, I'm not.
My
I'm not gonna
analysis-
beat him. I'm not gonna jump on him. That's ridiculous. But I'm definitely gonna
Yeah.
say some really sarcastic shit.
Yeah, I don't mind confrontation.
And I did want to spit on him.
I don't mind confrontation
Oh,
at
me?
all.
I'm not gonna say
welcome
I
it.
don't like confrontation, but my analysis was anything is gonna escalate this.
Yeah, probation is a different.
I go
yeah.
I'm thinking like I'm on probation, but my mind goes anything's gonna escalate this. Anything's gonna escalate this.
Yeah.
Because I want to escalate it, and I'm not even like you can ask anybody. I'm not even like that. Like you told me the other day, I have a long patience, but my mind said anything you say is gonna escalate this. So I had to let it go.
Yeah, that's something I have a problem with because like if somebody cuts me in line or they do something intentionally that
You take it very
dude, I
personal.
snap. I'll snap and
I
I'll
can see
create a
that.
scene. This is gonna get personal. I'm getting out of my car. I'm coming to your car.
Wow, damn.
fuck this.
So if he'd have hit you, it'd have.
Are you a road
Oh my
rager?
God, he'd have had him in
big
a
time.
He'd have
Yeah,
had him
I
in a
can
big
see
time
that.
road rager.
I can see that.
I don't like being tailgated. I don't like it when people don't let me merge. You know what I mean? Like it sends me over the edge.
I
It
can
literally
see
sends
you
me
as a
over the
road
edge.
rager. I can see that.
What are you gonna do in Thailand?
I can't see Matt as a
what are you gonna do in
road
Thailand?
You-
with
what's
this?
so
It's gonna
funny
be a
to me?
different-
What's so
yeah.
funny to me is if the old guy had bumped me and told me to move, I'd have been like, "Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. Go ahead." That it changes nothing for me. That guy's opinion doesn't mean anything. He
Yeah.
bumped me, no big deal.
I
He's
take
in a
everything
thing.
personally.
Wow.
I also don't get into road rages. If somebody beeps or cuts me off, I might have a split second of what the fuck, but then I'm like, calm down. This means nothing.
Yeah, I'm
We're in a
chasing
car
them through
accident.
traffic and-
Not
I
gonna
can
get in an
see
argument.
each one of their like reactions to that scenario. I can
Pulling into the
absolutely
house,
see
like,
that in their
like you
person.
cut me off. I'm like, but that was an hour ago.
But to me,
That's him.
I get mad.
I mean, to me, I've already seen that whole process all the way through, from me having to get angry and yell at this guy and cause a scene to ending up in jail, having to spend time talking to police,
Yeah.
filling out police reports, possibly getting charged. Like
I
not-
can't
to
think
me-
through all of that. My anger just
I-
blinds me.
my
Moses, yeah,
my
no.
problem is I'm
Immediate.
not getting bonded out. That's my whole issue. Like I
Nobody's
can't
coming to
have
get
that
me.
moment. And
that has so little impact on my life. I wouldn't have even thought about it again. I'd have been like, "Oh, hey, God, so sorry, sir. By all means, go ahead. My fault. That's my fault." And let him go. He's an old man. He's a bitter old man who's in a chair, and let him go because that. And honestly, turned around and then waited in line and never given it another thought.
Yeah,
never
I would
thought
at
about
least
it
told him,
I
fuck
can't
you.
even understand that. I
And then
would
walked
love
off. I would have had to have said something.
to
Well,
dissect that.
I
Definitely
have
see
an
that.
agenda for that moment, for that day, for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years, and I'm not going to allow my emotions to have me
That's-
waver from that agenda.
That's the RDAP program with the
Absolutely.
letting things that matter the least
No, that's
affect the things that matter the
That's
most.
the difference between somebody growing up in a consistent environment their whole entire life and being able to plan for the future and understanding that, you know, A, B, and C will lead to X, Y, and Z later. But people who are just like have been living hand to mouth their entire life, you know, homeless.
And maybe
I have
I'm
to think
somewhere in
about
the-
the now. Like, you
Right.
know, I don't,
Maybe
I've
I'm
never
somewhere
had,
in the
I
middle.
can't think about the future.
Right.
Like, I don't even factor that into any of my decisions because I can't, I have to deal with the now.
Amen. and that's what happened to me because my reaction was like anything I do is going to escalate because I wanted to say something. I wanted to spit in his face. Like my reaction was I got to react, but I'm like anything I do is going to escate.
Yeah.
And this
You
is
know
a white man. I'm a black man. And I'm on supervised release.
You know,
So the absolute loser is me.
you know, what's funny is
So-
I think that's the difference between we were all sitting here one day. Jess was here, Boseak was here, and I was here, and we see flashing lights at the front door, at the window close to the front. You can see flashing lights between the houses, and you can see it in the front. There's a glass thing over our door.
Red
You
and blue
can
lights.
Yeah, the red and blue light. Psh, psh, psh. And
I was
so,
out the back door immediately.
So Jess
Really?
Jess
Immediately.
glances-
That you were-
wait a second. So Jess glances up and I glance up and she goes, "Oh my God!" She goes, "The cops are here," and starts walking towards the front door. She walks to the front door, opens the front door. I walk
I'm
with
5
her.
blocks over.
We're walking to the front door
That's all right.
to open the front door because I've had the cops come here a few times and knock on the door for some reason or another, and they've opened the door and I immediately open the door. "Yes, sir. What's your name? Such and such." You know, I no problem because I know I'm not doing anything wrong, so I don't have a problem, and I know I haven't done anything wrong, and I know I can get anything that if it's a misunderstanding, we can work it out. But so we open the door. Just so happens that the cops had pulled somebody over like a couple houses down, catty corner to us. And so she sees it, sees the lights. Oh, okay. So they pulled somebody over. Closes the door. She looks at me. She's, "I guarantee you," she said, because she turned around. Boseak's gone. She goes, "Guarantee you, he took off." We walk. He's standing in the backyard, and when he's like this, and she goes, "It's fine. It's just this. Come on in." Coaxes him back inside. He walks inside, and she looks at him and she says, "You're not living your life right."
These motherfuckers are never going to take me again. And they're going to have a chase on their hands because I will never, ever, ever, ever just willingly say, "Here, put the cuffs on me." Motherfucker,
I've
you're
never
chasing
done
me
that
today.
either.
You're
It's
chasing me.
insane.
You're
You know,
fucking chasing
I've
me.
had
Hold on, 'cause I
cops
want to hear
come-
everybody give that story.
I've had cops come to my home
He
now.
did. He did.
And I've-
and he's
but
like,
not-
"Well, that's not me. They don't want me, obviously." But go ahead.
Yep. And I'm just a dick with them. Like we operate on two totally different sides of the fence. Like when you open the door and I see you, you're either trying to get information, you're here to do a job. I don't care why you're here,
Yeah. I don't want to deal with you.
especially if it's about me.
Yeah.
Like I don't care.
It's not for
I'm
anything good.
not
You're not coming here to
cooperative.
give me a check.
Yeah,
Or
I'm not
yeah.
cooperative. Hey, sir, hi. I could, first of all, fuck you. Next, what do you want? I'm doing something, watching a game, I'm smoking weed, whatever I'm doing, you're interrupting it.
Yeah.
How can I help you? And by help you, I mean hurry up.
You know what's funny about that?
I run.
Is that I've actually had the cops give me a check. I just went to Orlando, did a keynote speaking engagement for an hour, and they just mailed me a check.
Yeah,
You
well,
really gotta work on the other side of this.
So this is
I got a
two different
halfway point.
perspectives.
I got a
This
halfway
is the
point story.
Caucasian
Yeah.
that has reformed his life and he's doing fantastically.
Well,
He probably tripped into the life of crime himself.
Well,
Bose is a you know, like his mindset, the way he think. Zach is on the side of that. This is why they're on this side of the table. We're on this
It's
side. Of the
deep.
table.
There's a spectrum.
But Zach has always been like that, like
So-
low key, cool.
so
very
the cops.
patient.
So one time the cops came to my house, right, and they're knocking at the door, and I answer the door, and it's the police. So when I see it's the police, I get nervous. Just the apprehension
Dude, my
of
palms are sweating right now.
Yeah,
talking
every-
about
every-
it.
Talking about this.
Straight
everything
up.
I've been
God,
through with them.
slaying.
I get nervous because I'm like, I don't know what they want. Okay, so I answer the door. What happened was there was a car stolen out of our complex, and they wanted to know if I had a Ring camera. And then all of a sudden, I get very nice. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I don't have a Ring camera, but I happen to know my neighbor, and I get very courteous and helpful. But like, I agree they have a job to do, but I'll fake the happiness and friendly guy, but I'm like, get the fuck away from me, please. But I still get nervous. I still
Yeah,
get nervous.
I feel like-
if they get behind me, I get nervous. But it's not like, oh shit, I'm finna go to jail, but I still get nervous.
Yeah, I view every interaction with the law enforcement as I'm fighting for my life.
Wow.
I'm fighting for my life here because you have the power to take everything from me right now.
Yep.
Even though I've
see
done
that.
nothing wrong. So
see
fuck you.
I do
I'm
feel
not
like
even
that
going to
too
talk
sometimes.
to you. You're going to have to chase me. And then we'll just discuss it if you catch me.
I do,
Colby,
I do feel like
wait,
that
wait a
sometimes.
sec, wait a sec. Colby is a very clean cut white guy. Have you ever had your car searched? Do you feel when you've spoken with police officers, have anybody ever come by the house like a police officer or had a conversation with a police officer?
Yeah.
Okay. You feel like
I'm just whatever, like nice, like
Christ.
Oh, yeah.
Christ.
Well, there-
I can see Kobe drive. Oh, there's the police.
To Colby, those are public servant officers.
Yeah.
Those are,
I'm this close to saying, hey, you
Wonder
work
what
for
they
me.
want.
That's-
rolls
you say that's
rolls the
Kobe's
window
side?
all the way to and sincerely means, how can I help you?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what can I do to further your job?
Yeah, you guys are.
Did you
how
see?
can I help?
Can you? All right, there was a black guy and a tattooed white guy. Oh yeah, they went that way.
Absolutely.
I just came from the store. There was several
They
there.
look suspicious. I
They look
smelled,
suspicious.
officer, I smelled marijuana when they drove by.
I gotta tell you, I smelled a lot of pot. No.
You said, Boseak, you snitching motherfucker.
and this just goes
I
to.
wasn't snitching. I was cooperating.
So listen to
Totally
this.
different.
There's a difference.
Listen to this. I'm in LA one time and I'm dating this girl, and it was after dark, and we were going to go to the store. We're going somewhere, going to get some chicken or something. And I told her, like, let's take your car. I was like, because I get pulled over. And she didn't believe me. Like, she thought I was full of shit. I'm like, listen, I get hassled. Even though I'm doing nothing wrong, I get hassled. So we take my car. I had a Mercedes.
The black one? Was it black?
It was silver, but I wrapped it teal. I had like a teal wrap on it.
Hello.
And it was nice. It was a C63 AMG. I had a really nice car. I had it wrapped in teal.
That's the big box.
We're driving. We're on Crenshaw Boulevard over by Rosecrans. The LA County Sheriff's coming this way. I seen him look through his window, look at me, and then flip around. I looked at my rear. I seen him flip around and says, "We're getting pulled over." She says, "For what?" I says, "We're getting pulled over and we're going to get searched." Literally, we got pulled over. He pulls up behind me. I roll all four windows down at once because I had tints. And that's what because just so he's not sketchy, just so he can see in the car and see that it's just me and my girl. I hit all four windows at once. They come down. I have my license and registration ready for him because that's what you do. You have it ready for him. He comes up to the window. I hand it to him. He says, "I didn't ask for that." He grabbed it out of my hand. He threw it on the dash. He says, "I didn't ask for that." He says, "Are you on parole or probation?" I says, "No." He's like, "Do you have anything in the car? Any weapons or drugs?" I says, "No." He says, "Well, I'm searching." And he just pulls my door open. He says, "Step out of the vehicle." Wham, 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 happened just like that. I'm searching. Pulls me out of the vehicle, puts me in handcuffs, puts me in the back of his cop car. And this is all within a minute and 30 seconds of me being pulled over. I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
He couldn't even ran the tag. He hasn't even the tattoos on your face.
Dude, while he's pulling me out, he's searching me. He says, "What gang were you in prison?" I'm like, "Oh, okay." He thinks
That's unbelievable.
I'm like, dude, straight up, just like he's like, "What gang were you in prison?" I'm like, "Oh my god, dude."
The one your mom was in?
I'm like, why is this? I'm in my mind.
We used to run.
And in my mind's reeling because I've done nothing wrong. I'm not on probation. I'm not a drug dealer. I'm not a gangbanger. I don't have guns on me. Plus I had a bald head. At the time.
He's got the whole tattoo.
And my entire head's tattooed. And so I guess I could see, but once he got me in the back of the cop car, I'm leaning up and like, listen, I'm like, you got the wrong guy. I was like, straight up, and then once he ran my name, he immediately took me out of the car, took the cuffs off me, told me to have a good night. He's like, well, I couldn't see in the car. I couldn't see who you were. Just backtracking now because he's realized I'm not who he thought I was. I'm not that scumbag, gangbanger. Like, I'm not that guy. And once he realized that, his tune changed immediately. And ever since then, I'm like, dude, fuck these motherfuckers, man. They can just take your whole life away and there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, I know he doesn't worry about that, but I'm worried about things like that.
Look at the face.
It's one of the main reasons I'm leaving the United
because-
States because I just don't want to deal with it anymore.
No, I've never once contemplated tattooing my entire body. Because of those types of things, I thought you tattoo your whole body like that's good. It's all these things are targets.
I go hard no matter what I'm doing. So
living next door to the teacher is a guy with the skeleton tattooed on his face, and they give all these opinions. I'm like, I go, how do you know the guy's a criminal? They go, have you seen him? He's got tattoos all over his face. I go, that does not necessarily mean he's a criminal.
Yeah. It's a stereotype.
20, 30 years ago, yes. Nowadays,
it's a prejudgment.
Unfortunately,
it's a prejudgment.
Unfortunately, that guy that lives next door to is a criminal. So I've talked to him.
It's a prejudgment that we're designed for, especially us ex-cons. Yeah. You have to have prejudgments. You have to.
But everybody,
new guy that moves
everyone
into
with
the pod.
Everyone with a fully tattooed face. I'm sorry.
But like you're committed. Your mindset.
About 98%.
Your mindset. 99% of the people that have the tats, they fuck it. I don't give a fuck about what you think about me.
Yeah.
I like my art. So their rationale from them, this is this art, it's expression. It's all the things that face tattoos.
It's also
to us on the outside. He's a rebel.
Well, see, I think
doesn't give a fuck about what society thinks.
I think it could be military. It can also be military.
The person that thinks all of that is the same guy also that says, "I'm going to tattoo my entire body, fuck society, and I'm going to take what I want." And that guy has a criminal record because he behaves like that, and periodically it catches up with him. He goes to prison. He gets felonies, and he is that. He is the person. No, you were just saying it was about art, his artwork.
No, but and then that type of person has that
record.
Fuck what you think.
Yeah.
Right, but you also record.
They also make
you were making it
questionable
seem like
those type of fuck what you think, that always
they're prone to
reflects into
more
some type
prone
of record.
to risk reckless behavior. Yeah.
He's also the guy
I need
that
somebody
hits moving meth that has he's also that guy that when you do search his car, there's a chance there's a block of
these guys are risk takers.
I'm only semi in your corner. I'm only semi in your corner, Matt, because
these guys are risk takers.
I had my car searched.
Yeah, but
you're at the point where I said, you know what? We're not agreeing to any more searches. They all have to get search warrants, and they had to get a search warrant
it's because
three
of
times after that.
I was do you think it's because of all your tattoos or because you're black?
I think it's because
when they run that name.
Was it the area you were in? Maybe
not that, and black guy, white girl, Mercedes Benz in Atlanta, Georgia,
stolen.
Like it was
that wasn't the
horrendous.
reason,
and it was stolen.
That wasn't the reason because interracial dating,
bro. I have no idea what had them search us so many times.
Did you have a record? Oh, but they didn't have you didn't have a name.
Yeah, that and at that time I'm in rental cars.
But when they pulled you because rental cars are suspicious.
Oh, well, I don't know.
To areas.
I don't know what
absolutely.
They'd pull us over and they'd come and they'd look.
Rental cars is suspicious.
That's true because I've driven a lot of rental cars and never gotten a ticket and been pulled over.
You are the exception, Matt. You are. If you look up.
I'm starting to feel bad.
Guys, look up white privilege in Webster's. You will see that exact face with that smile.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
Yep. Because it's the stereotype. It's the prejudgment.
I know, it's so wrong.
I feel like if they took any of us and they said, okay, we will give you $100,000 cash but we're gonna give you a uniform and a police car. You have to make every arrest you make, you get 100,000 cash. Good luck. So you got no leads, no nothing. You got a car. Good luck. So you're gonna start prejudging and stereotyping. Boy, there's 3 blacks in that car. What are the odds? Oh, there's a black guy and I'm across 40th. I'm across Fowler. Oh, there's a white guy in a tattoo in a rental car.
In the hood.
They just know they're more likely to come across somebody with crime warrants. Somebody's going to have drugs. There's going to be something not right going on in this car.
These are these prejudgments.
Yeah.
And then when I turn and I look and I see that face, what has he did? What am I going to buy? Is he going to refinance my mortgage? What the hell is he going to do?
My mind isn't initially telling me to search this person like this guy's doing something wrong.
Yep.
Like that's not the first place my mind's going to go when I look at him. But you look at me, he's like, oh, he's got to have something on him.
Yeah.
He's got to have a warrant.
If we were in prison and he wants a honey bun 2 for 1 because I always ran a store. Mind you, one of the stores was, I don't know if you remember, I named my store the Caucasian Corner. Because there's a certain type of, and I deal with my people, blacks.
They're going to pay.
I deal like,
That's right.
bro,
Matt's going to pay you.
the white people. Matt is the type of person, if I loan him, if I loan them 2 honey buns and it's 2 for 1, when Matt gets his money, Matt is bringing me because he wants that off his ledger.
Yeah.
He's the type. I owe him.
Yeah, I don't want
So
to.
I have a question.
My folks
You're
will
gonna
be
have
like,
to go fight this motherfucker to get your money back.
I've literally had my people come to me and they owe me $20. Oh no, I don't pay out my mama money. I just got a money order, but that's my mama money. I don't pay out of that. When I get my baby mama money or when I get time out, motherfucker.
Yeah, you came to me.
That's my money.
Yeah.
You don't even have your money yet. And there's where the fight starts. So but these prejudgments, it is absolutely a privilege to have a certain look when these people are walking around looking for.
I don't know if it was him
and criminals.
or it's another guy I knew that, and I hung around a lot of guys that had stores, but he had a white customer similar to Matt or Kobe who got food and before commissary day ended up getting released. He's like, oh, bro, I promise you I'm going to bring the money and put it on your books. And the white guy got out of jail and actually came back up to the jail and put the money.
I've had that happen twice.
Yeah. I think it was you. And I'm like, are you serious?
Both white people, both times
he goes,
Caucasians.
that is the difference between a white customer and a black one. Yeah. It's just like when one of my friends from high school named Jennifer, whose license got suspended, and she's like, how am I supposed to drive? My license is suspended. And I'm sitting there looking at her like,
you're white.
What are you talking about?
You don't have anything to worry about.
The judge goes, Mr. Allen, your license is suspended, so no driving. Absolutely not, Your Honor.
Yeah,
how you getting home? I'm driving.
In the car that I drove here.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. When he said no driving, he meant don't get caught driving. I'm driving. I don't give a fuck what the hell he's talking about.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I've driven more in my life without a license than I have licensed.
And Matt, if a judge say, Matt, your license is suspended for a year, no driving, Matt's like, I can't drive? Are you kidding me?
They said I couldn't drive.
Your wife didn't go to the hospital.
That's
Well, I'm calling an ambulance or a
Ubering
friend.
everywhere.
I'm not driving.
You can be Ubering everywhere. I mean, I'm getting in the car. I'm going.
Oh, I'm breaking the law. Like,
You ain't lying.
They tell me you're not driving. I'm like, who's gonna stop me?
Yeah.
Are you gonna assign an officer to me every time I step out of the house? Fucking crazy.
That would be the only way we
That's
would
the
drive.
only way. And he better work.
Yeah,
There better not be a back door.
They got to come take the car. if
Yeah,
they
he
don't want
better
me
not go to
driving.
sleep at any time. Because where did he go?
Yeah, I'm the same way.
That's the whole difference. The integrity of Matt and Kobe is just we have none
Caucasian
of that.
corner.
That's Caucasian corner.
Even when I was on
Matt
the
would
run,
get out. And
even when I was on the run and didn't have my personal driver's license or use it the entire time, I never drove a car that I didn't have a valid driver's license in. Even if it was in someone else's name, I never drove one.
So I'm like that in my later years of fraud.
Oh, now, yeah.
Like in my later years of being the criminal.
Yeah.
I'm not now. I work a legitimate business. But like in the beginning, catch me if you can.
No,
And then
bad.
once I started figuring stuff out, I'm like, wait a minute. That eliminates so much.
Yeah.
Let me just, even if it's not my ID, I'm gonna have a driver's license. That insurance is gonna be, this car is gonna be right. So when you pull me over, you're gonna have good stuff. I'm not finna go out there and wing it.
Yeah.
So
I'm not winning
before we have to close out, I wanted to ask, Matt did have a conversation that wasn't on the right side of the tracks with me. And so I want to ask him, what was your thinking then? Like that you wouldn't drive a car if you didn't have a license. But when I had a warrant and I told you I was going to turn myself in and you're like, why?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's where he's on your side.
Yeah.
Because I did turn myself in.
But once again,
even Cyx is like,
Never.
he goes, I think that's overrated.
Yeah.
Never
that's
happened.
not even an option.
But once
Would
again,
never happen.
that was you. That wasn't me turning myself. I'm not.
You
gonna turn-
told me not to turn myself in.
I know. I told you not to. Listen. Do you know how many times I would be in? We were in prison. Or sorry, I was in prison, and some guy would show up for a 10-year sentence or a 5-year, and I'd be like, they gave you
Self-surrender?
8 years.
Fuck you.
You're talking about you were eating at Panera this morning, and you turned yourself in, and they're like, yeah. I turned 10 o'clock. I had to be here at the.
But see, that's different.
And
For
I'm
a
like,
10-year
The
sentence?
turn, but the
turning
turn in
one.
it. So how that stuff works is they plea you guilty. You plead guilty. I'm guilty, sir. And then we postpone sentencing.
Yeah, it's never been an option for me.
But hear me out. Because if you agree to that and he lets you go and settle your affairs for the 30 days and you buck, you've not just the escape failure to appear, you've pled guilty to your charges.
Yeah, you're
now
guilty.
you're just coming for sentencing.
Yeah.
So now that you pled guilty,
No, you get sentenced, and they let you still
oh
turn yourself
no,
into
that's
jail.
not no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
yeah,
In feds, they do.
Feds.
Oh,
Fuck
that's
yeah.
feds. That's how
In
the
feds, the judge will
do.
go, you need to do a 10-year sentence.
You've been sentenced. And
I'll give you 30
60
days
days
to
from
get
now. You need to turn yourself
into
into
the
the prison.
prison.
You need to walk straight into the
They'll
front door.
Tell you,
So I
call
think
the
that if
BOP
they-
and ask them where to go.
Yeah.
But if you abscond from that arrangement, I feel like they would open that back up.
No, they can't
I know
open
in the
that.
state,
Can't.
Nah, they give you another charge.
They
but
might give you
wouldn't open
another
back.
charge, but there it might
so
be a
that
month or two.
that other
added on.
charge,
Might be
it
nothing.
only adds. I'd never turn
crazy
myself.
is that?
What?
Yeah.
Why
Right.
would you?
After sentencing?
I don't get.
Look at
Like
how
10
quickly
years?
he changed.
Yeah, I'm
but
not
the funny
fucking-
part is both of them would agree. So, Mr. Boseak, you're going to leave now and you're going to turn yourself in 2 months for the 10-year sentence. You're like, oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Like 10 o'clock, should I be there at 10? Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Absolutely. Meanwhile,
While I'm walking
I'm
out
at
the
the
courtroom, I'm booking flights.
gone. Fuck you.
Yeah,
I've never been much of a
definitely-
runner though. I always have bond money.
So I have a question. So let's say you get sentenced to 10 years, how are you getting out of the country? Like,
You got to have a passport.
You have to have
You
another
you
name
still
set
book a
up.
flight and go?
Yeah, you
If
get
you
a
have a
fake-
passport.
Well, you'd have to go before it was time for you to turn
Yeah,
yourself
or you can
in.
get a fake
You
ID.
have to- you have to
get a
go
fake ID.
immediately.
Get a fake. I've had multiple passports.
Or you
in other people's
you get on
names.
some boat,
You'd have
get
to
on
have a
some boat
passport
and
ready
ride
to
to
go.
Cuba, and then take a
Because
flight
your
from
name
Cuba.
is done.
Honestly, you can walk into Mexico.
Your
Yeah.
name is
Yeah.
done. So you've got to have. But I mean, some people used to have put up a whole costume
Oh, of course.
for
yeah.
just such emergency.
I got a passport, driver's license, everything ready to go.
You better
You
believe
would be
it.
able to get out of the country without a whole fake.
So at that
I
time,
think
at
you
the
could.
time of sentences, you can.
probably could buy like a.
But
boat
you're
or
letting them
walking.
know where you're going.
But if you were to go and on the manifest for your flight, there's a you might be able to go, but there's a chance that they could
This
have
is under your
name
real
flagged.
name.
Yeah, under your real name. There's a chance, not always, but there's a good chance. In the federal system, you're probably flagged.
Yeah.
In the state system, you may not be flagged.
In
So-
a different state, you might want to leave with it.
if you have the wherewithal to get up out the country and dip, you better have another name.
Let's say
put
they're not sophisticated. They don't have access to an ID.
It's just a matter of time before they get pulled over. They have, Captain,
How are they able to get out? Is there a way?
So if you didn't surrender your passport, and you can leave the country, but they're gonna know what country you went to,
where you went.
and then they're gonna
Where's that
they're gonna
footprint?
come try and find you in that country if they want
and-
you bad enough.
And honestly, you may not get on the. I know many guys that were indicted, but they hadn't the cops hadn't caught up to them. For instance, Joseph Vitale. Remember Vitale? He had been indicted. He knew he was in trouble. He hadn't gone in yet or been processed. His lawyer was he's not even supposed to show up. He's been indicted. And his lawyer's like, hey, you need to turn yourself in on Thursday. He goes and files or buys a plane ticket, and he's ready to fly to Peru or Ecuador.
Whatever
No,
that country
Peru. I
is
think
where
it
you
might have been
get that
Peru.
salary thing.
Anyway, let's say it's Peru. So they go to the airport, and they're sitting there waiting to get on the airport to fly internationally. Well, they told him later, oh, no. The moment you were indicted, your name was on the list. So had we grabbed you and you were in custody, but in the moment we'd indicted you,
It's on a no-fly list.
he was on a no-fly list. So his name showed up, and they were just sitting there waiting. They walk up to him, they go, "Joseph Vitale," and he's like, "Yes," and they grab his stuff and cuff him and walk him out.
Yeah, but there's a level.
But that was federal.
Yeah.
That was federal.
Yeah, there's levels.
Let's say it was a state of Florida. State of Florida's not going to do that. State of Florida, you can probably go to the Tampa International Airport with your passport, jump on a plane and leave. But they are going to know where you went.
Yeah. They'll have a record of you flying.
Yeah, this guy just flew to Mexico. Now, once you're in Mexico or you're in you're in Peru or Ecuador or wherever, you fly from there. Like it starts to get very difficult to track you down. Or you jump on a boat, or
That's what I
it's to the
said,
point
a
where
boat
it's
to
like
Cuba.
What's the easiest way to get out of here under your own name and not through like the federal?
probably walk into Mexico, like
Or
Jack
take a
said.
boat to Cuba.
Yeah, you can walk right into Mexico. You don't have to show passport or nothing.
The Crime Chronicles.
ChatGPT fucking recommended that. So it's got to be good.
No, that's not true. ChatGPT it makes mistakes all the time. Every time I go to it, it makes mistakes.
I love ChatGPT.
Well, because the mistake is asking it a mistake.
You're
I'm asking.
prompting it
You've got to
wrong.
refine your question.
Right, I do, and then I'll say it'll tell me, give me the wrong statistic, and I'll go, well, that's funny because this and this is what I heard the statistic is. And then it says, oh, after reviewing those, I believe the statistic is 75%. You just said it was 30.
Yeah,
Like I give you the same
refine it.
question.
It's called hallucinations. All AI does it right now, but that over the next few years it'll be coded up.
Are you opposed to AI?
Me?
Yep.
No, I just don't want it taking all the jobs. Credit card.
You know, people,
I do. I'm the
people had
opposite.
that. People had that same argument about
I want AI to take all
Amazon
the jobs.
and about I'm old enough for the year 2000 and the advent of these computers,
Yeah.
and they're going to take jobs.
Yeah, I
have
want
to
all
have
the jobs
AI.
to be taken. To be
We
honest with you,
Have to
You
have.
don't
think
want
that-
people to do anything?
No. I think that'll be a good thing because everybody will be able to do what they want to do. Like there's this miscommon myth that people's jobs give their life meaning. Man, suck my dick, bitch. You mean my job gives my life meaning?
Well, it depends
what
on
about
what you
poetry?
do.
What about learning a second language? What about the stars and the planets? And
So
no,
what
I gotta
about-
go move boxes around Amazon.
So what
and
about
that's
the
my
pod-
meaning?
what about-
None
Suck
of
my
which
dick.
he does.
Right.
By the way.
Because
Because you don't have
I
time.
won't.
No, I refuse.
What about the podcasting? What about the podcasting? That doesn't give you meaning?
Well, it's something that I want to do, that I choose to do.
But that's how you make money.
No, yeah.
Well, I'm
But-
saying there'll be more things
first-
like that
first
people
of
will be
all-
able to like explore, like what, like people like don't have the luxury or even the, nobody's actually like sat there and like, man, what do you really want out of life? Because I got to pay my bills, I got to go to work, I don't have time to think about what I really want out of life.
But that's the difference
You know
between
what I mean?
But that's the difference between you and about 85% of the population is that 85% of the population buy into this is what I want to do. And the 15% that don't buy into that are entrepreneurs or in prison because we're criminal. Because
Yes.
we're thinking like,
Yes.
why do I have to do that?
Yes.
I feel like your generic,
Yes.
like your average person would become like depressed. They wouldn't know what to do.
Right. If they didn't have a job or
If they
something.
have someone
But-
to kind of tell them, hey,
They
do
would
this.
find meaning. Yeah.
Well,
They would
listen,
have to find meaning because I don't know. I don't believe that. That sucks, dude.
Listen, if everybody stops working and nobody's paying in money, then they won't be able to pay their bills. If
Well,
they can't pay their bills,
so he's
and there's
thinking
no,
it
and
should
there is
all
no,
be automatic. Though.
Yeah,
There'll be
yeah.
a universal
So
basic
you would
income.
spend your money.
you can't give people overall. You can't just print money. It has to be
There'll
backed
be
by
a-
something.
there'll be a
It has to be
universal
backed by
basic
labor.
income.
Yeah, we are.
It has to be backed by
Listen,
labor.
there'll be a universal
in some
basic
sense.
income.
Or-
And all of these corporations that go 100% automated with no employees are going to pay a certain percentage tax every year, which is going to be way lower than paying 500 employees to do a job. So they're going to have a surplus of profit every year, and a certain percentage of that surplus goes into the UBI, goes back into the universal basic income system, and then we can all just be a population of hedonists and we'll be entertaining
not.
each other. The parties will be wild.
We're not.
Fucking entertainment will be off the chain. Well,
Yeah, but
None of that.
So
None
you don't
of
even
that
have a
is
DJ
possible.
at a party. It's just
In
kinda-
order
we
for
will.
us as a society to progress,
dude, art
to
innovation.
the next level, AI is just a thing that has to happen.
Yeah, I
Yes.
understand, but it would have to be
Has to
controlled.
happen.
You can't suddenly say, "Hey, we're going to pay
Of
everybody
course you're gonna have to
$25,000 a
control it.
year, and you don't have to work."
Mhm.
And AI
Perfect.
and robots are going to do everything for us. That's not going to happen. They break down.
There'll be
First of all,
other
they can't.
jobs. There'll be other
not
jobs.
for us. they're gonna like I can see his vision, not
Because
for us.
AI will
They're
open
gonna
up
provide
other
the basic
opportunities.
functions of what we need. They're not gonna like clean our house. We'd have to do that ourselves.
I mean, that's
There's
going to
be
something they
other
could do.
jobs, but like to explore
Probably right.
space and all that. AI will be able to refine the questions that we're asking it. We'll be able to cure stuff that we couldn't figure out. We'll be able to go places that we couldn't calculate. Like that's going to be the next level of
know
our
in 20 years.
of
we'll know.
our progression.
Imagine
20 years.
imagine
20 years
telling
when
people.
What do you think we'll be
economy's-
here in 20 years?
Imagine telling people
I
that
am,
you
bro.
can now
I won't
wake
be
up
here.
and you can make your own decisions. You can
Not
wake
all
up
of us
every
falling
day and
apart. Some
decide
of
what
us are
you
actually-
want to do. Who's gonna pass that up? Who's gonna give up? Who's gonna give that up? Nobody.
Some of
is.
us are taking care
Fuck
of
these
themselves.
jobs.
And some
Fuck
of us
this,
are
fuck
not.
this
Are you-
system the way it is.
I
Fuck
see
these
you're
jobs.
walking and losing weight.
He's just old, and they're the older people. They
Are you?
fucking they
Yeah.
hang on to
Stuck
the
on that
system.
way.
They
I've
won't
been
let it go
walking.
because they're like,
Yeah.
there'll be
I've been-
chaos without it. No, it won't. Something new will come out of everything, and that's just how it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, chaos.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. What are we doing? What are you doing?
You asking me if I've been exercising, walking?
Oh, okay. Nice.
Getting in your steps.
Yeah,
How you-
steps,
right,
exercising.
Is that
Oh,
is that
yeah.
the
You're going in.
Was that the doctor's plan?
No. They're trying to figure out
Bro,
why I'm having.
He's a cyborg. He's being kept alive right now by a machine. He's half machine.
You got a pacemaker?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Is that monitor or does that help?
Well,
do
It
Keep the magnets
monitor
away from
and
them.
it helps
Yeah.
keep it at a certain rate. It helps keep it from going into because they want to figure out why my heart goes into rapid beats and not pushing the blood. Because whenever it starts doing that, my blood pressure drops. So and they're thinking it's some kind of
and not producing.
so they want to know if like they need to thin my blood or if I'm formulating for blood clots
And they'll know
or
that
whatever.
from looking at the data. Because
Yep.
it's constantly monitoring your data. Yeah.
But yeah, every once in and I take pills for that, and every once in a while my heart still kind of tries to go, and I think the pills are like get back in place. Like okay, it'll try to like I'll feel it like trying to get offline, and something will stop it. But it's like damn.
Because of how our society is now, I feel like we should be able to clone you another heart.
That'd be
I'm
nice.
willing to put you up.
Sacrifice your heart for
I'm
mine?
willing to put you up for it.
Bionic
Like
heart.
if they need somebody to do it first, I'm
Yeah, but no, we can't do clones. We can't get into that type stuff because of,
Oh, I'm sure there are somewhere.
what not in this country. They're doing all that testing and Bill
Not on
Gates
the
and
books.
all of those.
Not on the books.
It's all in Africa.
Not
No,
on the
all
books.
of those places are in Africa.
I'm sure there's
All
some
the
bears. I'm sure
labs
there's some
in
labs somewhere
China
here. Yeah.
Where
The Chinese don't give a fuck. They're
they don't
cloning
give a
everything.
fuck.
They're splicing
Sign here,
animals and humans
sign
together.
here,
Yeah.
and we'll do whatever the fuck, and we'll pay you whatever. I think that's I'm
Pay
all
you.
for it.
I believe that happened. What's so weird about that is I believe the cloning and splicing happened way back eons ago. You know what I'm saying? Where people have like pictures of half man, half bull and shit like that.
Yeah, I don't think it happened.
I do. The hieroglyphics of that shit. You think that's just people like, hey, you know what I'm thinking, Bill? I'm gonna draw a picture of a half man, half bull.
It's because, but we're not doing it because.
Or how do you
it's
think the pyramids
ethnically-
were built?
It's ethnically wrong.
Yeah. I did a deep
create
dive
a
in the
human
pyramids
just
last
to-
night.
Really? Have you read
Actually,
anything about that?
The Great Pyramid was a water pump that created electricity for.
I believe that.
It's not just that some crackpot has a whole
Listen,
book written on it.
I know, and they expanded on his book.
So
I watched the
what-
whole thing. I watched the documentary last
So
night. They
after
made
you
a pretty
finish, I wanna know his
compelling
theory.
argument for it.
Listen, you can get 6 different documentaries telling you 6 different things, and every one of them, by the time you're done, you're like, definitely aliens.
That's it.
Definitely aliens.
By the end of it, you're like, yeah, it was 6 guys and a couple of donkeys did that whole thing. You know, I mean, literally.
So what is your theory? What
The Egyptians built him. That's what happened. It took
But
50
there are
years.
they
and
were-
built
what
this
were the
pyramid.
purpose? What
40
were
to
the- what was the
50 years
purpose?
long.
they are a mathematical phenomenon.
Anomaly.
Anomaly,
Yeah.
because there's no welding those together.
They're not welded together. They're block.
I know, and they seal upon contact. So that's
Yeah.
that
These
is
blocks
the
weigh 20 tons each.
And like the
Pulleys.
the
That's 5
pressure-
school buses.
the pressurization
Yes.
of it, the air
Yes.
ducts, like the complex air ducts.
Listen, the fact that
they
there are
made.
no hieroglyphics inside of the Great Pyramid lets you know that it wasn't a tomb and it wasn't used for what mainstream archeology says it was used for.
Well, we watched the wrong. We
Period.
watched two different documentaries.
Okay, so two different theories.
So I'll send you guys the documentary. Probably the 60 documentaries and all of the Egyptian history professors and the people that
Yeah,
have
they're all
really
wrong.
they're all wrong.
Yeah,
Right?
they're all
There's
wrong.
there's 10,000 of them that are wrong, but there's some guy from
There's
Iowa
a
that
giant
wrote a book.
conspiracy around the history of ancient Egypt and all of that. Like there's one mainstream version that archaeology clings to that's been disproven left and right for the past 20 or 30 years for guys
that
that,
it's
this is what they wake up every morning and
Not that it's
dedicate their entire lives to.
But not that it's disproven. You've got the archaeologists.
There's alternate
that have
theories.
They're getting their evidence and then they're formulating an opinion based on that learned evidence. And then
Yes.
there are theorists.
Like the Great
And their
Sphinx.
theories,
Right. These are
their theories
Like there's
would
water
make
erosion.
sense to the people who are looking towards that angle. Oh, that does make sense.
Like there's water erosion on the Great Sphinx. And the only time that could have taken place was like 50,000 years ago, which predates the dynastic Egyptians by 25,000 years.
what
So
if-
the dynastic
and their belief there
Egyptians,
is it's Atlantis.
the dynastic Egyptians were
serious.
squatters.
I suggest
Essentially, they were squatters. All the hieroglyphs you see that was graffiti done by a civilization that came way after the pyramids were built originally.
I suggest we all talk about something we have an actual expertise on, not
Tune
something
into
that we
my
watch,
channel
not
later.
something we learned on
I'll
TikTok.
take you to school on ancient Egypt.
I'll be doing
I'm
a
ready.
segment
I'll go
on
to class.
history.
I'll go to class. I have an open mind.
Oh my God!
Yeah. Go ahead.
I've read all the books. I've watched all the documentaries. I've
You haven't
studied.
watched all of them. You obviously didn't watch the ones I've watched.
Well, he's got a lot in his playlist queue. So he's got them all
Lined up, ready
lined
to go.
up and ready to go.
All right. So
University.
we're gathered here today.
Yeah. What my suggestion was that we each kind of pick a scam, give a brief overlay of the scam, and then explain, and then talk about like, okay, well, you just said that. How does that work? Like, I don't understand, and pick holes in the scam, right? Because I give you an example is that, Zach has had many, many brilliant scams. And then once you start asking, well, what about this? What about that? Sometimes they, he's like, you can see where they went wrong. It's like, oh, and I ultimately got arrested. Well, why'd you get arrested? Oh, because I got a hotel room and I used a fake credit card. Why did you do that? Or, oh, well, originally when the scam started, I had the credit cards mailed to my sister's house. And it's like, you didn't, well, I didn't think they'd put that together. And, and so it's like, okay, well, that whole scam unraveled based on that one little tiny thing. And how would you have done it differently or better? Or it doesn't even have to necessarily be a scam that you've done, just one you've kind of thought about and heard about, and this is how you think it would work. And just kind of like unravel it. Kind of like the guys when we did that video the other day, and we're talking to this guy on the phone, and I'm sitting there thinking, man, if he just tweaked this scam a little bit, he probably would make a lot more money just by tweaking a few things to make it more credible and make it not come back so, on him so easily. He could probably run this scam for 6 months and could probably make millions of dollars doing it. He just doesn't. They want to, oh, I'm going to send you $15 million. You just have to send me $15,000.
Oh, you're talking about that one that I had.
Yeah, I'm saying like
that I got scammed on.
Well, you didn't. You never sent the money, so
No,
like,
I
you
mean,
did
but
get scammed.
because I kept asking myself, where is the scam? Because I'm like, everything seems too perfect. Where is the scam?
But I mean, think about what he did. He really eliminated a ton of potential marks by saying, oh, I need you to send me $6,000. Like if he had a letter that really looked like a law firm and it really went to a decent law firm website and it was really connected to a lawyer that you could check out, and he had really planted articles about whatever the organization was and how it worked.
Right.
And then he had simply said, not that, hey, you have to send me $5,000. If he had said something reasonable, like, look, and this is something that most law firms do. When you come in, they say, look, we have a basic fee that just kind of pays the administration fee, which is $450. Like, yeah, I'm going to represent you on your car crash, but I need you to pay $450 now, and I'll take 1/3 of the payoff in 18 months when we settle the case. But for now, you have to pay $450 just for the administrative costs.
Just to get us going.
Right.
Yeah, that makes.
How many times could this guy? Lots of people can afford $450. That's a real thing. My brother-in-law owns well, he's retired now, but he had a personal injury attorney firm, and they used to charge $350 is what everybody paid up front. Doesn't matter if you got $1 million, $2 million, $10 million
Consultation.
But I agree.
Consultation is like once you sign up, you have to pay this for us to start your file. It's just for the administration to set your file up. It was $350, and all of them were charging it. So it was like that. I'm going to end up spending $350 immediately just to set up your thing. So you have to pay that. Now I'll work for my 1/3, but this is just for the staff, let's say. And everybody paid it. Nobody questioned it. Now it'd probably be $450, $500. But the bottom line is he could get 100 people to do that and make $45,000 as opposed to getting 2 people every 6 months to pay in $5,000. He's stupid. It's stupid. And it's reasonable. And anybody can come up with $450.
But I disagree with that on that scam because he's looking for, like, I think his was brilliant because he's looking for people trying to get over. I'm serious, because he's basically saying, hey, there's somebody that died with the last name Cox, right?
I'm saying that. I understand that. I agree with that.
But
I'm not saying.
So I think asking you for money to get money to participate in a scam I think that would scare more people. Because if I told you, look, you're not related to him, but I'm gonna try to get you their inheritance. Give me like $400 and I'll start the process. You'd be like, why the fuck would I start the process? I'm not even related.
I disagree. I would make it. I'd go the entire time like it's absolutely legitimate. This is a legitimate thing. This person is related to you, and you as you may be thinking I'm getting over on him, but if he had said, listen, this person, we actually have somebody who's whatever, one of these people that put together the trees, your family tree. We actually have a letter from someone that says that this person is a long lost relative of yours, and you actually are supposed to be getting this money. Now you may think to yourself, I don't think so, but I'm not going to say anything because I think I'm going to get the $15 million. So you may be thinking I'm getting over on him. And those are the best scams. The best scams are when the victim thinks he's getting over on you. Absolutely. And you're getting over on him. Yeah. So I think that if you did that and he said, look, we're signing you up for the law firm. You just have to send $450 to set up your file to an administrative firm. Most people would come up with $450. You would have paid the $450 to see if you got the $15,000. I think you would have. You seemed pretty taken in.
I was taken in because and this probably shows my character, but I was taken in by the fact that he was trying to do something that wasn't legal. It's kind of like I'm fishing. You
obviously knew it was a scam. You were just trying to figure out where's the scam at.
Right. And I was allured in because he's basically saying, look, they have the same last name and this money will go to, like, he interests me in the hustle because he's saying otherwise this money's going to go to the state. Right. If nobody claims this money, then it's going to go to the state. So there's all this money is going to be thrown away. So I'm kind of like wondering if you're interested
I
in getting it.
How you were taken in.
Right.
I'm saying that
if he would have just said, you are related to that person.
Right. And many people would easily pay $450. You stopped dead in your tracks the moment he said $7,000 or $6,000. You were like, oh, wow, that's it. But if he said $450, and if you actually looked it up, is this a real thing? Plus, he could have planted articles about his company doing this for a living. And you would have searched him up and boom, you would have seen these articles and you'd have been like, man, this is a real thing. This guy really does that. Oh my gosh, I want to get in on this. Then you'd have been like, I want to get in on this. And he'd be like, okay, well, it's $450 for us to start the process. That's all you'll pay. Once we get it, I get 30% of the recovery fee. It takes about 90 days. So how would you like to pay that money? And then he's got 90 days to get 100 more people the same way. So I think that's the way to fix that scam for this retard. Because he was a complete idiot that he just completely fucked it up.
I agree with
and
he
doesn't
fucked it
speak
up.
good English. And
I see the 2 points. Like, so Zach is coming at the angle where like this is already a sizable thing. Here's this $15,000 fee and all that. So you're looking at these huge numbers and these big numbers. And if you believe the scam, if you believe the paperwork, then the $10,000, $15,000 fee is
To the bank.
is
It's-
okay.
it's-
I
it's
also
reasonable.
see. I also see where you're coming from, and I think that you would get kind of paid more often.
Yes.
Because like you're giving all of this stuff. Here's this great looking paperwork. You're looking at it, and then you've got the same understanding that okay, this guy's trying to scam, and he's like, hey, you want to get in on this money? So sure, such and such. He could even go as far as saying, I've already paid the beginning half
That's what he did.
of surfacing all of this stuff, bringing it to the forefront. Now we're here. So the only fees that to get it started. Let's file you specifically because I found you. We're going to use you just to get that stuff started. Is a $499
and keep in mind too.
thing.
Let's assume that there's a chunk of people that absolutely 100% agree that this is for sure for real. I'm going to get the 15 grand. I believe that this is going to happen. How many people do you know in the United States right now that legally work a job? That
I
can
think
come
that
up with-
number is very low.
that legally work.
15%? No, what number?
People
wait
that
a
are
sec,
even
wait.
going to entertain this scam.
Well, wait a second. I'm saying right now, in this room, can you come up with $7,000? Can you come up with $7,000? Can you
Yes.
come up with $7,000?
Yep.
Most people, legitimate citizens, you're not legit. Legitimate
I sell cars.
citizens that have regular jobs that make the average income of $40,000. They have less than like $2,000 or $3,000 sitting in the bank. They can't come up with $7,000 or $8,000. But they
this
can
was
come up with
angled at the
450.
roofer.
This-
This was angled at
He-
the
he-
roofers
he-
and
No,
the business owners.
I mean, I agree,
All right,
but I
so-
don't know that that's
It's
absolutely.
a lot of that's a lot of.
So can I
lot of
ask
money.
one
That's a
can I
lot of
ask
time.
one qualifying question so I know how to think of this? Who from what angle are we saying are you trying to improve the scam? From the scammer or from the you know what I'm saying? Are you
From the
saying
scammer? Obviously,
so
I'm
the
trying
scam so you're saying as a scammer we'd make more money if like we did what you said, like better website, better paperwork, put more into it, and then ask for a less amount of money from more
smaller
people.
amount of money,
agree.
smaller amount of money. And keep in mind too, think
So
about
then I might agree with that.
it.
Now,
Also,
with
Today's
maybe
exercise, what I'm bringing to the table is exactly that, where it's a smaller figure, but the effort goes more into the presentation and the success of getting what it is that you're scamming, as opposed to the going and hitting for the 20, the 30. Because I think what you're bringing to the table is along the lines of a bigger score. What I'm bringing to the table will be the smaller end, but more.
I think the profit margin is low. It's lower if you're going to do small
they're
amounts,
a higher amount of
higher quality,
success.
and well,
I believe it's a higher quality. I believe that you'll get a lot more $400, $350 fees from our branch to get this stuff going. And then it's the angle where he's like, well, here's the paperwork. Listen, take your time, but you kind of got a small window here. And if you don't like it, don't call back. Like I'm not here I'm offering you something. See you later. Bye.
yeah, I can go to. I would rather make up on
but you'd
volume.
have to have somebody monitoring the phone. You're talking about a
course,
lot of
because
expense.
it's
You're talking about a lot of
this is your
expense.
hustle, though.
Yeah, I understand.
This is your hustle. So
I understand
you'll
because
have-
people buy numbers and send out text messages that you have a package in order just to get your credit card number to sell it on the dark web. I mean,
Absolutely.
and I'm thinking to myself, like, what do you sell them for? $10? So you send all those texts out. I mean, I'm going to ask myself, what is the profit margin? So I guess
Well, they're also in
people-
another country too. So I mean, the profit margin in another country is vastly different. So you make $4,000 a month in another country. That's like making 20 grand a month here.
yeah, you're right.
That's
You're
a lot
right.
of money.
Or 400 or 500. I don't know, but and that's what I asked myself. Like what the hell can you be gaining? So I think the profit would be lower, but because you're gonna have to have someone man the phone. You're not gonna be able to send because you got to send out more.
Well, he's picking. He's sitting at home answering the phone himself. So
I
Yeah,
think
you're
that
not sitting
guy-
at home answering the phone
think
yourself.
whoever-
If you're doing $4.99, bro, you got to send out like
That's
he
probably-
might,
you might
he
have
might
to-
have sent out like 300 or 400,
I think
hoping
he
about
was a rookie.
10%.
Whoever that was,
Oh,
I
he
think
was horrible.
He was, and somebody gave him something, and he just kind of formulated that.
Yeah, that letter was.
I don't see that guy with that hustle was,
But
and he
set up.
sounded like a hood anyway.
He sounded like he was grocery shopping then with 4 kids.
about it like
yeah,
this.
no, I'll call you back.
but think about it like this
I'll
too.
email.
Yeah,
Think about it like this too.
email,
Check
email.
In another country, like he's going to Thailand. What can you live for in Thailand?
A month?
Yeah.
$200.
Yeah, I
20
wish.
bucks, please.
That's 1970. About $1,500 a month. You can live a very, very comfortable life in
You
Southeast
should
Asia.
see the condos. We're not talking about a shithole condo that looks like a motel. We're talking about
No, these
like on
buildings
the
were built in
20th.
yeah, last year, 2 years ago, you know.
Looking over the beach.
Yeah.
Insane.
High-rise luxury condos for about $550, $600 a month. 23rd floor, 30th floor.
Oh, when you were
all
saying
the
50,
amenities.
that number you were quoting was your total living expense,
Total
not
living.
rent.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
everything.
Everything. Oh no, you can get a place for $250. But I'm saying he's gonna be living. We're talking about like 20th floor, concierge. This is like living in a brand new building downtown.
If my
Which
price
is
point,
$4,000 a month.
If my price
Yeah,
point was
yeah.
$1,000 a month, and I wanted something out there, you're saying that I could live?
You want to pay $1,000 a month for rent?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh
dude,
my God.
yeah. You would get the equivalent of here, which you have to pay like one of those apartments downtown, like Tampa, for
About
like
4,000
$3,500,
elements and all of
$4,000.
that.
You get one of those for about $1,000.
They
over there.
denied me twice.
Yeah. Well, these guys just pay. These guys that you walk in, you just
No
pay.
credit check, no
nothing.
background check.
Where is this
nothing.
at? Thailand?
You have the money?
Southeast
you
Asia,
sure?
really. I'm going to Thailand, but Southeast Asia, yeah.
We got it. Can we come
And
visit?
how much is a meal to eat
A
out?
lot.
A meal to eat out.
$2. $2.50
And you should see
US.
the meals.
US. You get a giant plate of like noodles, chicken, rice with like so say all four of us went out and we all got whatever entree we wanted. We all had a big round of drinks and all that. The total price for all four of us would probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about $30 to $35 US.
Wow.
And listen, forget that part of it. When we're done, you have to send the videos. When he shows you the video, and it's not one video. There's hundreds of videos of people just going out to eat. Like you should see the meals they're getting.
Yeah, please send us the video.
It's not crap. It's not like a McDonald's meal. We're talking about home cooked. Like this is like going to Bonefish Grill. They're bringing out salmon. They're bringing out.
And even McDonald's is cheaper over there. Like over here, you're gonna pay like what $15 for a value meal now. It's like $6.50, $7 US over there for the same thing that we pay $15, $20 for here. Yeah. Wow. Southeast Asia is definitely, I think, where it's at. If you want to take your US dollars and see how far you can stretch them.
Of course.
Yeah, $3.
Better.
What is it? $3 a month?
Wi-Fi.
$3 a month.
The infrastructure. Listen, the
technology?
infrastructure in Southeast Asia rivals and surpasses anything that you see here in the United States. Their public transportation. I can show you the videos. The public transportation, the streets are clean. Like the crime is low.
It's socialized. So the public transportation is part of your taxes.
Yeah. It's the crime is low
What are we doing
over
still
there.
here?
Okay, so here's the reason I have like after sitting with him long enough, I've had many conversations with Jess. But the bottom line is, which is my wife, the bottom line is in the end, this podcast is based on 70% of it is people coming in person to meet with me.
Yeah.
Now, if I could do it all remotely and get the same amount of views and income, well then I could live like a king over there.
Yeah.
But my fear is that if I were to go over there, then I would lose a chunk. And I have all editors in the United States, running or doing the all the editing and everything. So you can't suddenly everything would drop down and you can't afford to pay that. You don't have a place. And my fear is that everything's working so well right now. Why would I make take that leap? But
that's right now though. It could change.
Listen, oh no, things could change. But God, I want to make it
Taiwan.
But I'm a vlogger. I vlog. That's what I do. I like to just grab the camera and go run out and do stuff in public. Whatever I'm doing. I like that's the kind of content I like to make.
He has
Whatever it is.
he has videos. There's channels, complete channels, exactly like the channel we can get into that later. But he's starting a channel. When he goes, there's guys that have Americans, guys from Ohio that have moved there, got a condo, got a girlfriend,
Pretty little Thai wife.
And moved there, and their whole thing is just about, hey, I'm going here today. Hey, I'm doing this. Hey, I just worked for 2 hours and made. They're doing.
Guys that couldn't get laid here in a whorehouse are going over there, and they have like the most beautiful girl you've ever seen.
Yeah,
wow,
gorgeous little Thai chick, and then they're making their money.
Is that a channel you're specifically starting?
Patreon, maybe.
There's a bunch of other videos, guys just like him that went there, started a YouTube channel, and probably worked a day job, doing some kind of digital, something like
usually
on
marketing.
Upwork
A lot of these guys, they do marketing or they do
editing or something until eventually their YouTube channel takes off, and then they don't even have to do that. Now they just make 3 videos a week, and put them up about their life in Thailand and how much everything costs. And here I'm going here, and I just did this, and my girlfriend and I are doing that.
Wow.
That's their whole channel.
Do they get paid
and
American rate?
Yeah. Because
Thailand cannot
Your
be
account is
happier.
set up here.
here, yeah.
Thailand could not be happier about
You're
that.
still a U.S. citizen, so you're still
amazing.
paying taxes to the U.S. So I'm still getting U.S. dollars, every month. I just live abroad.
There's certain
I'm
things.
still a U.S. citizen. I still pay taxes on everything I make. You know what I mean?
Wow.
I'm gonna
I'm
turn the air
interested.
down. It's
Yeah.
Are you hot?
Yeah, it
people,
is.
like,
I'm gonna-
and listen, I didn't
Are you doing it off
understand
your
any of
phone?
this.
Yeah, I just turned it down to 2 degrees.
I didn't understand any of this really until I started, actually really digging into it and watching the YouTube videos and watching a lot of these guys that are over there vlogging and making videos, talking about the cost of living, talking about just, the culture, the society, how things operate over there. I had no clue, I thought it was
Wow,
all fucking
instantaneous. I
ching
feel
chong,
it.
chicka chicka ching chong chang. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know like it's because we live in such a bubble here. And we're made to believe that the U.S. is the center of the universe. We have it better than everybody else. Our culture's better. Our economy's better. You know what I mean? Win, win, win. American. We push that American excellence where we really just focus on the individual. So everybody's kind of just like this narcissistic. I'm out to make as much money as I can and take selfies. And dude, it's a different culture once you get over on the other side of the world. A completely different culture. Crime is so low over there because the consequences are swift and severe.
And severe.
Swift and severe.
He said
Well, and
severe.
also we talked about this, and I haven't seen a video on this, but we just had this discussion that basically what it used to be like here back in the 100 years ago was if you saw somebody throw something on the garbage on the ground, you'd be like, hey, like 4 or 5 people around there, oh hey bro, what did you just do? And the guy would pick it up, and just kind of that
shame.
Shame, and where now it'd be like, fuck
Yeah.
you, mind your own business. But that's not how it is over
they
there.
don't. No, the culture over there
They're
is
like-
completely different. They have something called saving face over there, so they won't disrespect each other and like call each other out in public and make it to lose face. So the cultures are completely different
Yeah,
than what
culture.
American society is over there. I
Yeah,
mean,
you don't go on social media and talk shit about this fucking restaurant sucks. This guy did.
they have what are those laws called? Where you defame or defamation. The defamation laws over in Thailand are crazy. Like you can't leave bad reviews on restaurants. You'll go to jail.
Wow.
Straight to jail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Damn.
they just
Yeah.
it operates a completely different operation.
They don't even have words for probation, first time offender.
No, if you break the law over there, you listen. Their jails over there are just like it's 25 dudes in one room sleeping shoulder to shoulder on a cement floor, no mats, no pillows.
I heard they give you one meal.
There's a toilet.
and
The
your
toilet is a
family
hole.
in charge of.
There's a toilet. It has a hole in the corner of the room in the ground, and that's where everybody just squats over it and takes a dump. Oh yeah, you do not want to go to prison in Thailand.
The third strike. Their third strike law
Is death.
happens on it happens on the first arrest.
But possession of drugs and with distribution and all that, it's life.
punishable by
Life. You get life automatic off rip.
This is
And
why
then you
the
got to try.
crime
And then you
rate.
got to try and figure out how to
Yeah.
get your time down. Dude, the
That's
crime
why their
rates.
crime
Dude,
rate
there's
is
no
like that.
violent crime over
No.
there. I mean, listen, it happens. People get murdered. People get assaulted. People get drunk and drive their cars through the front of stores and shit over there. It happens. I'm not saying it's
Yeah,
just
not on a
perfect.
daily
It's a
clip.
utopia. But listen, the amount of violent crime that happens here in the U.S. Just walking to Walmart, I can get killed. You know what I mean? Somebody can just pull up on me and shoot me in the head for no reason. You don't have to worry about those things over there in Southeast Asia. Those it's not even a factor. You can just leave your purse somewhere. If you're at a table at a restaurant, you can leave your purse and go to the bathroom, and you can come back, and your purse is going to be there with all your money in it.
I can't tell you how many times I've had my purse stolen.
Or your wallet or your
To the
phone.
point
I
I
can
don't
leave my
even-
iPhone.
And that was in prison.
Your iPhone. Talk about your iPhone. I can leave my iPhone on the table in a restaurant, and I can just go to the bathroom, and I can come back, and my iPhone's going to be there. Nobody's going to, oh, look. Nobody's going to take
That
it.
type of stuff doesn't appeal to me. The security and safety. I'm usually the bad guy,
Yeah.
so I'm not worried about other bad
pisses
guys.
you off. You're like, what?
You lost them at 25 years for a charge.
For
Yeah,
simple drug
that's where you lost me. I'm already thinking about
And
what's
listen,
or the
football
bad,
games
and the bad
or-
reviews.
People still traffic drugs through there. People still do wild, giant, fraudulent, 20 billion bot frauds. And you see it in the news every day. But what you don't see on the other end of that is how much time those people get in the consequences for what, you know what I mean? Like it's
just never hear from him
insane.
again.
Yeah, because you never hear
What
from
happened to
him.
Bob?
What
I don't
happened to
know.
Bob?
Yeah.
I know he was selling drugs. I know he got picked up.
Yeah.
And then you see stuff like with those cops arresting people. Oh, it's not like it's what.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah, they just all that police brutality shit. No, exactly police
yeah. They're
brutality.
like that's what we do.
You're getting your ass beat. Yeah.
Don't commit crimes. We won't have to beat you.
I don't see that as different from America.
Thanks for like police blue brutality.
Well, no, they
Thanks
don't
for
bitch about it
reminding
over
me.
there. Like,
Thanks for
they're not going to march in the street if somebody gets their ass beat by the police over there.
Oh,
It's just,
okay.
it's a part of life.
Right.
It's just accepted. It's just a part
Here,
of life.
use my
Right.
shoe.
But the problem is,
Yeah,
that
exactly.
as an-
People are like, beat his ass.
Beat
as
his
an
ass.
American, you need to move there and know that you have an income, because you're not going to go there and take a Thai job, because if you're taking a Thai job, you're not living in the condo.
Well, you're a foreigner.
Well, no,
You're
they
not.
don't let foreigners work.
They don't
Right,
let
but
foreigners. Yeah,
even
you're a
in
foreigner.
general, the jobs
They
there
don't-
are not.
You're
paying
here
enough
to
live like
spend
you wanna
money.
live.
Yeah,
and
you
not
have to be able
suck
to-
up our resources.
Well, you would
I
have to
understand.
live like a Thai. So they call it living like the locals. And you can go over there and live like a Thai local, but you know, they live very, very simple. You know what I mean? Like the Thai people over there, they make about
Not
I think
great.
$500 or $600 US dollars a month
Right.
is a basic salary for a Thai person.
So there's like the haves and the have-nots.
yeah.
Lots of have-nots.
They call it a high society.
If you go there as an American and you can generate enough, let's say you do editing work, you know, like Colby could pick up and go there and make himself
Seamlessly.
$4,000 or $5,000 part-time working up on like a website like Upwork.
Yeah.
He could just do that and make $5,000 a month and live like he was in the United States making $100,000. Well, let's say $50,000 a month there. But he can't go there and take a regular job and maintain that, because now he's going to get not that they were going to let you take a job, but it's, if you're just working like a regular Thai person, you're not living in that condo on the 30th floor.
Mm-mm.
So you have to go there as an American and be able to get American wages.
You have to have US dollars
A
to
digital-
live a decent life. You have to have
Yeah.
US dollar, US income.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a digital, what do they call it? A digital nomad, right? You have
Or
to be
the
a
great
digital nomad.
or the GBP, the Great British Pound, which is almost twice what the American dollar is against the baht.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Listen, do
He's
you want
already
US
got
dollar?
bots. He's got bots. He's already got
The dollar and
spot
the
cash.
pound are almost.
No.
So $1 is 35 bahts. One Great British Pound is 50 bahts.
What are bots?
It's a Thai baht.
It's their dollar.
It's
It's the currency in Thailand. That's what they call. They don't call them dollars. They call them
right,
bahts.
right. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bot.
But I mean, he's already got cash. Like, he's already been buying
Got Thai
buying the
bots?
bots.
I have
He's already got-
30,000 Thai baht physical cash I'm taking over there with me. That was like 900 US dollars was 32,000 baht that I'm taking
This
over
is
there with me. Yeah.
totally gone off the rails, by the way. We're supposed to be
What?
back to it.
Has
So,
it?
yeah.
You know what though? I think people are gonna. I think they just listen to anything.
Right.
With you four guys, I think they.
Yeah, but I mean, what we're supposed to be. Let's
Well,
let's
this is
do
gonna
the.
be. This will also be picked up and put at the end.
I was gonna say
Okay.
you could cut this and put it at the end and
Yeah.
yeah,
This will
Yeah.
be put at the end.
Yeah,
This
let's-
whole
let's-
entire conversation.
Can we jump back to yeah?
Yeah, I'll probably say. Well,
You started them to
I
Thailand.
it just reminded me. It
Oh.
just reminded me. I didn't know it was going to go off on the
Yeah, I'm
rails.
sitting here thinking, I'm
tangent.
like, how many more of these can we do before December 3rd? Yeah.
So what about yeah? Because we're going to do a whole episode. We're going to do a whole episode just on like
Dude, we're just dedicated to Thailand anyway.
right, just
yeah.
the start of him, how he got to that point, what procedures he went through to kind of figure that out, and then what life is like there, and then what his goal, like the whole thing. We usually do an hour.
Yeah, and this will be a good space
Yeah.
for at the end. We're like, check out
Yeah, yeah.
Boseak, check out Cyx,
Yeah,
watch Zach's old videos.
right, yeah. Because you can go down a rabbit hole on time. Every time he turns it on and I sit down, I'm not even sitting on the couch anymore. He'll pull up these YouTube videos and I sit on the couch, and an hour and a half, 2 hours later, I'm like, the fuck am I doing? I just lost 2 hours watching video because I'm just so like, I can't believe this
Yeah.
place. Like this
It's
is
amazing.
and it'd be different if it was one guy, but there's 8 different guys that he kind of follows. Oh, check this guy out, and he'll click it, and boom, this guy does this. He travels around East Asia, and just a normal American being a normal American, and the guy's he's got to be making $5,000 or $6,000 a month just on his YouTube channel,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
traveling around.
A couple of
showing you
guys I watch over there from Australia.
Showing where
yeah.
I'm traveling around.
And the Australian dollar sucks against the baht. It's like 22 baht per every one US or Australian dollar, which is not. It sucks. And there's a lot of
Australia's
Australians over
struggling
there.
too,
Yeah, they're struggling. Their currency is down. Yeah, they're definitely
They've
struggling.
always been fighting from behind. Those Aussies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I posted that picture of you guys, and people are already commenting like, "Oh, like I can't wait." I feel like this should be a weekly lineup. Like,
I should have been doing this.
That's
I
what
mean,
the police. That's what the police said.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Can't believe we got them all in one
The
spot.
problem with that is that Boseak's going to be gone in a couple of weeks. Zach may go back to jail for some, God knows why.
I'm working.
hey,
He's safe, huh? You two are safe. Thank you.
We'll be here.
All right.
I just sold the car the other day. I'm feeling fantastic.
Hey, you guys, I appreciate you watching. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you get notified of videos just like this. Also, if you want to go and subscribe to Zach's channel, which is Black Zach, or you want to subscribe to Cyx's channel, which is Cyx Gear, or you want to subscribe to John Boseak's channel, which is John Boseak, go into the description box. We have the links there. You can click there, go straight there. You can subscribe, and we'll have all of their other social media so you can follow. Really appreciate you guys watching. Also, do me another favor. Please consider joining my Patreon. It's $10 a month. We put Patreon exclusive content on Patreon. So, and it also really does help us make videos like this. Once again, thank you very much. See ya.